Poor, ugly, and weighing over 200 pounds, that's me. In order to play games with my favorite female streamer, I live on stale buns every single day. Online, I pretend to be a wealthy, handsome socialite. For 3 months straight, I've been showering her with gifts just to play together. I really thought I was someone special to her. But then a real wealthy guy showed up. He was just hanging out in her stream, and after gifting a measly $300, she turned to me and said, "Hey Ethan, would you mind leaving the room for a bit? This guy said he wants to play mid lane too." She was treating me like an interloper. I felt sick to my stomach, but I didn't have any money left to send her more gifts. The game lobby felt like a cold market. Frustrated, I left the room and logged out of my account. I switched to guest mode to lurk and watch her stream. I watched as she pampered the new boss, coaxing him into the room to the hero selection screen. She even locked in a support role for him instantly. That's when a message popped up. "Maya, Ethan, you're not mad, right?" So sorry, so sorry. I'll definitely make it up to you and play with you tomorrow." I didn't want to reply. "Maya, don't be mad, okay?" "Pretty please?" I stared at that crying emoji next to her cat-themed profile picture. I still couldn't let go. "Ethan, no, I'm just glad a big spender finally noticed you. I'm actually happy for you." That was a lie. In reality, I hoped she'd stay a nobody forever. That way, I'd be the only one she needed, even if I had to scrape for pennies. Dark, twisted thoughts filled my head. Maybe because she got the answer she wanted. Maya stopped replying to me. The guy, Chris, played with her all night. I don't know if he got bored or what, but he didn't show up in the stream for the next few days. During that time, Maya just took random small orders, playing a few games here and there to cover her basic expenses. So, toward me, the boss who had been consistently gifting her money, she became much more attentive again. I budgeted my money carefully, deciding to visit her stream only once every 3 days. That way, I could at least still afford instant noodles. I didn't want to just place a small order. I didn't want Maya to find out that I was actually just a broke loser. The persona I had built was always that of a carefree, wealthy young heir. Busy with my studies, I'd say, just throwing a little cash around to relax with some games. I lurked silently in guest mode for 3 days. Today, I finally had enough to send a gift. About 10 minutes after Maya started her stream, I couldn't wait any longer and logged into my account. I clicked into the stream. Level 28, Ethan has entered the room. "Oh my god, Ethan, you finally remembered me in this lonely corner." Maya teased with a playful pout. "Ethan, been busy with school." Level 28, Ethan gifted a Porsche. "Thank you, Ethan, for the Porsche. Are we still doing our usual 2-hour session today? You're so disciplined." After Maya finished thanking me for the gift, she glanced at our Instagram chat, which I hadn't replied to in ages. She looked a bit hesitant, but she still invited me into the game room. I turned on my mic, feeling strange. "Are we doing duos today?" Before Maya could answer, the stream suddenly exploded with pink gift effects. Level 37, Chris has entered the room. Level 37, Chris gifted a private jet. "Chris, wait, didn't you ask me to come for some sweetheart duos? Are you starting without me?" Maya acted all aggrieved. "Boss, you were ignoring me. I thought I'd lost your favor. Let me finish with this previous boss, and I'll call you right away, okay?" Chris didn't say a word. Level 37, Chris gifted a romance train. "Thank you, Chris. Thanks for the private jet and the romance train." The excitement in Maya's voice was unmistakable. A romance train was worth $400. Combined with the $300 private jet, in just a few seconds in Maya's stream, Chris had already dropped $700. I hadn't seen him in a few days, but Chris had jumped from level 35 to level 37. That meant during that time, he had spent another $10,000 or $20,000 in other streams. This was a guy with real deep pockets. After 2 or 3 minutes of silence, my phone buzzed with an Instagram notification. I already had a bad feeling. "Maya, Ethan, can we play tomorrow instead?" Even with my patient temper, I was about to blow a fuse. So whenever a bigger boss shows up, I'm expected to just step aside? Again and again. Was I really that worthless in her eyes? "Chris, are you gonna kick him or not? If not, I'm out." "Ethan, don't you understand? First come, first served." "Chris, who the hell are you to talk to me, you broke ass?" "Ethan, you're clearly a mistake your parents regret. Your manners probably died with your father." Dandelion Viewer, LMAO. Only you guys actually think this Ethan guy is some rich kid. He only ever drops like $120 at a time. Summer, Hey, Ethan is a VIP 10, okay? Cotton candy, Ethan said. He's busy with school. He can't play for too long. Dandelion, who knows where he even got the account from? If he's so rich, why doesn't your Ethan bros drop a universe to shut the other guy up? Is he scared? I didn't even have $700 to my name. How was I supposed to fight back? The comments were getting nastier by the second. The regular viewers who usually knew me and would have stood up for me didn't dare to make a sound. Dandelion, $700 and he's already tapped out? And this is the guy you call a big spender? Chris chimed in. He sent 3 or 4 voice messages in a row. He sounded like a total lunatic. And the messages were filled with nothing but vile insults. My fingers flew across the screen as I typed. But before I could send my next reply, a line of black text appeared in the center of the screen, making my vision go blurry with rage. User has been muted by the host. 1. The counterattack I had prepared couldn't even be sent. I had no way to vent my fury. I felt humiliated and utterly devastated by Maya's betrayal. My eyes were bloodshot with rage, and my hands were shaking. Maya quickly sent me a DM. Ethan, don't be like that. Your account is going to get banned if you keep this up. Ethan, he's the one who started it. You muted ME? Ethan, he's still insulting me. Why aren't you muting him? Maya, don't be mad. I'll explain everything to you later. Maya has sent you $120. Maya didn't reply to me again. I switched back to the game lobby, only to find I had been kicked back to the main menu. She had kicked me. I couldn't help it. I screamed in a breakdown. I grabbed my pillow and slammed it onto the floor. I wished I could drop 10 universes in that stream right now and slap those 2 lowlifes right in the face. But I opened my bank app, 563.28. Every cent and dollar was there, mocking my delusional fantasies. God, tier spendthrift system binding, 3-2-1 binding successful, .9 binding 6 less. A cold mechanical voice echoed in my head. For a moment, I thought I'd finally lost my mind from pure anger. But a second later, a translucent blue screen appeared out of thin air. Right before my eyes. Daily allowance, $10,000. Funds will be automatically deposited into the host's bank account at midnight daily. Chase bank account. XXXX. Usage restricted to members of the opposite sex with a beauty rating of 8.0 or higher. Spending grants a 1-1 cashback reward. Is 1 cashback reward. Completing each stage of tasks will reward 1 mystery box draw. Newbie reward, 1 mystery box. Draw available. I was stunned for a split second, followed by a wave of pure euphoria. Is this what I think it is? The system gives me money? If I spend $10,000 a day on a woman, the 1ON cashback means I get $10,000 back for myself? If I'm not crazy, then my life is about to take a massive turn for the better. I was so happy that tears actually pricked the corners of my eyes. But how do I know who's an 8? Is there a hint? I asked the question frantically. Please explore on your own, host. I had been staring at the blue screen for too long, and my eyes were starting to sting. I instinctively closed my eyes, and the screen vanished. Where did it go? I panicked. Before I could even doubt if I was having a hallucination, the screen reappeared. So, it was controlled by my thoughts. My thumb brushed against the TikTok app on my phone. The splash screen was an ad featuring a famous actress, a face that had been verified as beautiful by at least 300 million people. My mind naturally made the connection. I wonder how many points her beauty rating is. A second later, I stared at the silver-blue numbers floating above her head, 7.9. I couldn't believe it. Someone at her level was only a 7.9? Are there really any women around me who can score above an 8? The system note said, rating is a comprehensive assessment of natural features. This gave me an idea. I searched for beauty streams and clicked on a random one to check. The girl had heavy beauty filters on, and floating above her head was a glaring rating, 5.6. No way. She can actually make money looking like that? Looking at the GIFs constantly scrolling through her chat, I felt like I was at a loss for words. I kept scrolling down, and ended up back in a familiar stream. Damn this algorithm. I watched Maya's flirtatious movements with a cold gaze. It all just felt incredibly pathetic and sycophantic now. But looking at the hands currently showing off her gameplay, a blue number appeared, 8.3. I was actually a little surprised. It was much better than my previous fearful assumption, that she might be a 200-pound catfish behind the screen. At least I hadn't been spending my money on an ugly woman. I opened the gift recharge interface. Amount, 5,000. I entered my password and held my breath, waiting for the transaction to clear. The balance in my Chase card had already been down to 0. So, the system really did put money into my account. I couldn't contain my joy. This second confirmation gave me even more confidence. I didn't linger. I kept scrolling, leaving only a few familiar accounts behind, gossiping fervently in her chat. Hamster fatty, I feel kinda bad for Ethan. He just came in for 2 minutes and left again. Dandelion, feel bad for what? I've been sick of his arrogant act for a long time. Every time he sees me, he tells me to go do my homework. He's alright. I actually think he's a pretty good guy. He spent a lot of money on Maya too. Business is booming, huh? Dandelion, he probably makes $3,000 a month and is just acting like a big shot. And you guys actually thought he was rich. Look at him leaving with his tail between his legs after being outgifted. If this were before, I definitely would have switched to an alt account before coming back. I'd be afraid of people mocking me or being put on the spot, because I really didn't have money. I was even poorer than someone making $3,000 a month. But now, with 500 or so in my pocket, I didn't care at all about their gossip or ridicule. I felt incredibly confident, as if I owned the entire world. I even felt an exciting urge to do something big. I had no idea what the comments in Maya's stream were saying. I was completely focused and interested in this new stream that didn't even have 10 viewers. The girl on screen, Autumn, had a very conspicuous 8.9 rating above her head. This was the highest number I'd seen after scrolling through over a dozen streams. Surprisingly, she was a new Honor of Kings streamer who didn't show her face at all. I clicked into her profile. She only had a few dozen followers. I'd been in her room for 2 or 3 minutes now, and she hadn't even welcomed me, a level 28 big brother. She really was as new as they come. Maybe she saw the discussion in the stream, because Maya sent me a message on Instagram. Ethan, don't be mad at me. I didn't have time to reply just now. I just feel like it's better to take other people's money than yours, right? I mean, look at our relationship, don't you agree? Once I cash out, I'll buy you some milk tea. Maya genuinely thought this way. I didn't tip in huge amounts, so she assumed I was just a rich kid from a wealthy family, who wasn't financially independent yet. For some inexplicable reason, Maya didn't want to take any more of my money. I sneered. So taking money from others is business. But with me, it's personal? Why don't you show those words to your new boss? Maya went silent. When two bosses clash, someone has to lose. By muting me, Maya had clearly chosen Chris. People strive for higher ground. I could understand that. But her messaging me now was likely just a final attempt to see if she could have her cake and eat it too. The nerve of her. I couldn't be bothered to reply. Instead, I sent a message to the new streamer, Ethan. Hey streamer, do you take orders to play? On the screen, her character, Yao, was dashing in and out of the fight, snagging a triple kill. She showed off her national level badge. The game ended just then, and she must have seen my comment. She paused for a moment. Then a clear, bright voice read it out. Do I take orders to play? She sounded quite young as she complained. I originally wanted to do rank boosting, but why hasn't anyone contacted me? Am I not cool enough? Her voice was exactly my type. A vibrant, energetic girl's voice. Her nickname was Autumn. It suited her main hero, Yao, perfectly. I asked, how much per game? She seemed a bit troubled. I don't know. How about I carry you through a game first? If you're happy with it, you can just pay what you think is fair. Is $50 okay? Hearing that, I finally realized why her stream was so dead. $50 was enough to hire 2 pro-level players. What kind of girl has absolutely no concept of money? But it didn't matter. I've got the cash. Level 28. Ethan gifted a luxury cruise. Level 28. Ethan has leveled up to level 29. Ethan, why did you send that? The effect is so cool. It must be expensive, right? I replied. It's not. Just call me Big Brother. Pretending to be rich felt so damn good. A notification popped up. 1,200 deposited into your account. Current balance, 1,200.06. Seeing that text made me feel even better. This system is pretty thoughtful. The money I spend on women and the money I get as a reward are even kept in separate bank accounts. Big Brother, what's your server? Send me your username. When I told her to call me that, she seemed a bit shy to say it out loud, acting all bashful. No wonder those greasy women like to tease young guys. This kind of innocence is really charming. I was about to send my name, but I stopped, deleted it, and retyped. My username has blank characters. You won't be able to add me. This Autumn girl really was a bit of a ditz. You silly puppy. I thought of Maya again. When her boss said anything, she'd immediately take the hint and flatter him to get his contact info. I didn't want to deal with that toxic woman right now. Then, can I add you on Instagram, big brother? That way I can just invite you directly. After a long pause, Autumn finally figured it out. I sent her my handle. I received the request quickly. After the friend request was accepted, I immediately clicked into her profile and scrolled to the bottom. She didn't hide anything. It was all photos of shopping, manicures, traveling, and complaining about homework. She didn't have that naive pick-me-girl vibe. She felt very authentic. I was actually a bit nervous. Fortunately, as I scrolled down, I found her 18th birthday post from this year, and her high school graduation post. It looked like she was a freshman who had just finished high school. Big brother, you're not online yet? Autumn started to nudge me. Once I logged in, I habitually put support-style mages into my pre-selected slots. Suddenly, it hit me. I'm the boss now. Why should I force myself to play a utility role? I immediately changed my mid-lane picks to high-damage mages. I wanted to play soft supports. I wanted to play mid-lane. I wanted to hog all the gold. In the first round, I picked Yao. Autumn, naturally, pulled out her signature carry hero. After she helped me clear the mid-lane wave, she started sticking to me. I sat back and unmuted my mic. You should help the marksman more. Otherwise, he's going to yell at me later. This was the first time Autumn had heard my voice. There was a suspicious 2-second silence. Okay, she replied with a giggle. Good girl. Autumn went quiet. She cleared the jungle extremely fast. When she reached the bottom lane and saw the enemy support and marksman show themselves, she used a combo to instantly leave the enemy marksman at low health. The support barely managed to retreat back into the tower. I hit the attack signal. As Autumn dashed into the tower without hesitation, I timed my disrupt spell perfectly. The system announced, double kill. Autumn sounded quite excited. Nice. How was that? We're getting better at this, right? Autumn was calling me big brother, more and more naturally now. I chuckled softly to myself. I could almost see a little puppy sitting obediently on the ground, tail wagging non-stop, waiting for its owner to praise it and pat its head. Good girl. Autumn went quiet again. After playing 6 or 7 games, Autumn still seemed to want more. But I was starting to feel a bit tired. I topped up the remaining $5,000. Of today's $10,000 fund, I had $8,800 left. Level 29. Ethan gifted Starlights, Dream Castle, Romantic Carriage, and Carnival. X1. Level 29. Ethan has leveled up to level 33. Holy crap, is that the guy who's number 1 in the world? He's already buffing up her character. Coming in to pay my respects. Rich boy, I'm making a wish. Big brother, let's cuddle. It all added up to $8,800. A broke college student spending such a massive sum all at once. Even if it wasn't my own money, it was incredibly thrilling. Before I even had time to feel a sting in my heart, Chase sent another notification of an $8,800 deposit. Pure bliss. Absolute bliss. At that moment, thanks to the mysterious algorithm's push, and the traffic generated by my massive tipping, an old fan from Maya's stream, a guy named Summer, also found his way into Autumn's room. Looking at the dazzling gift effects in the stream, and the familiar name, he immediately rushed back to Maya's stream. He was the type who loved to stir up drama. Summer, quick. Go to the stream next door. Ethan just dropped almost 3 universes on some new girl. What? Are you serious? Which streamer? I'm going to check it out. Maya's stream, which had nearly 300 viewers, suddenly plummeted to just over 100. She had just entered the hero selection screen. When her eyes flickered toward the chat, she froze. Those few short lines of text felt completely foreign to her. Maya pulled out her backup phone, logged into an alt account, and found Autumn's stream. It was just a small streamer with fewer than 100 followers. Yet the top right corner of the room clearly showed over 1,000 viewers. She clicked on the contribution leaderboard. Level 33. Ethan, contribution value 100,000. The ratio of contribution points to cash was 10-1. Maya's gaze turned dark and heavy. He spent $10,000 on another woman in just 2 hours? He only spent $3,000 or $4,000 on her in 2 whole months. So he was just playing the long game with her, was he? Maya had always been confident. Even though she'd been a bit out of line today, she thought she just needed to comfort him after the stream. She was sure Ethan wouldn't actually leave her. She was certain of it. Ethan wasn't the wealthiest big brother in her stream, but he was the most loyal, only ever sending gifts to her. He was the boss who had stayed by her side since she started streaming. But now, where the money went, the love went too. Looking at the contribution value in Autumn's stream, she started to panic. Why are you AFK? Hurry up, the enemy is in your jungle. Chris's dissatisfied voice came through her phone. Okay, sorry, I'm lagging. Maya finally snapped out of it, realizing her own game had already started. Autumn stared at the gift effects covering her screen, speechless for a long moment. The last one, I know what that is. That's $3,000, big brother, you didn't click that by mistake, right? I had a good time. It's for you. The emotions a puppy unconsciously radiates are truly captivating. I was tired too, and I couldn't be bothered to go find other women with an 8.0 rating. Besides, I'd never sent these kinds of gifts before. It was nice to just enjoy the show. I'd finally gotten a small taste of what it felt like to be a high roller. I'm happy, so it's a gift for you. Back in Maya's game, while she was still lingering in Autumn's stream, her hands faltered and her smite was a second too slow. The red buff fell to the enemy jungler, who then flashed a taunting emoji over their head. Sorry. Maya was so angry she almost laughed. I exited the stream, switched over to my bank app, and checked my balance. I chose to transfer $6,000 from my Chase card. I solemnly entered my password and waited a second or two. My balance had changed to $6,560.68. Even though I had already confirmed the system was real, seeing the money actually sitting in my own pocket was the only thing that gave me total peace of mind. For once, I didn't stay up late lurking on Maya's stream. I slept incredibly well. I woke up at 11:30 a.m., the earliest I'd gotten up in quite a while. I finished brushing my teeth and habitually reached for the fridge to heat up some stale buns. I paused for half a second and slapped my own forehead. The instant millionaire mindset hadn't kicked in yet. I opened my bank app and checked the numbers one more time, feeling great. I ordered myself a bowl of handmade stone-ground rice noodles. The delivery arrived quickly. I slurped my noodles while calling out for the system. The silver-blue light screen expanded before my eyes. God-tier spendthrift system. Daily allowance $10,000. Funds are automatically deposited to the host at midnight daily. Chase bank account. Usage restricted to spending on members of the opposite sex. With a comprehensive beauty rating over 8.0, grants a 1-1 cashback reward. Giants, 1. For every 10 days of tasks completed. Reward 1. Mystery box draw. DRM. Current available draws, 1. So I'm making 10K a day now. I took a huge piece of beef, slurped up some of the smooth, tender rice noodles, and took a bite of an egg-fried golden brown on both sides. It had been so long since I'd had a proper, decent meal. I was so happy my eyes narrowed slightly. Yesterday, I was so blinded by the cold, hard cash that I almost forgot about the reward for the draw. I thought the word draw in my head. 3 bouncing mystery boxes appeared on the light screen, as if tempting me to open them. A reward that takes 10 consecutive days to earn. Definitely wouldn't be bad. Like any modern person used to playing on their phone, I reached out to pick one. A second later, a loud bang 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 echoed. No. Someone was practically smashing my door down. Then came the shrill voice of a middle-aged man. Don't you ever clean up after yourself after cooking in the morning? And you call yourself a college student? Have some damn manners. I frowned and opened the door. I just ordered takeout. Asked the other roommate. Ethan, how can you lie like that? I just saw you go into the kitchen and open the fridge. I stepped slightly to the side. The middle-aged man poked his head in, peering around. When he saw the unfinished takeout in my room, he finally believed me. He didn't apologize, though. He just kept grumbling nonsense. Who knows what you're doing in there with the door locked all day anyway? None of your damn business. I didn't bother wasting my breath on him. I slammed the door shut, nearly hitting him in the face. The man jumped back, startled. He started muttering curses again. You little brat, what's with that attitude? I pulled the door back open, grabbed a pair of scissors, and said gloomily, try saying one more word. My hair, which hadn't been cut in months, was long enough to cover my eyes. At 180 pounds, standing in front of that scrawny man, I was actually pretty intimidating. The man shut up instantly, not daring to make another sound, and scrambled back to his own room. I realized I couldn't live here anymore. I was about to open a real estate app. I casually picked the box in the middle. The system notification sounded. God-tier spendthrift system. Congratulations, You have received a 5 million property at Royal Gardens. One fully furnished, 800 square foot 2-bedroom apartment. The purchase funds have been deposited into the Royal card. I could hardly stop myself from screaming. Is this a dream? City S is a highly developed coastal economic zone. Housing prices are among the top 3 in the country. I had never even fantasized about owning my own home here. Royal Gardens. It's less than 500 yards away from State University where I go to school. Because the building is new, the layouts are great, and the neighborhood environment is elegant. The smaller units are perfect for singles or young couples. It attracts a lot of wealthy students who hate living in dorms and choose to buy or rent there. Students jokingly call it the rich kids' dorms. The system just gave me $5 million to buy a place there. Despite the rush of excitement, I still kept a shred of logic. It was a delayed realization, but I started thinking. With such a massive sum of money being wired directly to me, would there be an issue with the source? Would the authorities come knocking on my door? The system has already established a foolproof background for the host, the voice stated. The funds originate from an inheritance from a distant overseas relative. The estate was liquidated and managed by a trust foundation. The transfers are rational, compliant, and perfectly legal. It was the first time I felt that a cold, mechanical voice could provide such a profound sense of security. I asked again, how am I supposed to know which apartment is the one I'm meant to buy? Please explore this on your own, host. Fine. The system was still the same old cold system. As a shut-in, my first instinct was to search through all the major real estate apps. I filtered by the neighborhood name, using keywords like 2-bedroom, 800 square feet, and the specific price range. I screened them one by one, but unfortunately, I couldn't find a match. I couldn't help but feel a bit dejected. However, the moment I thought about the 5 million in my card, I was instantly revitalized. I planned to clean myself up in the afternoon and head out to a real estate agency to check in person. I opened my battered, peeling little wardrobe. Inside were a few baggy t-shirts and some oversized pants. After sorting through the pile, I managed to pick out 2 items that were in decent condition. I threw them on and opened Uber. I set the destination to a reputable nearby real estate agency I had just looked up. Once I was in the car, watching the crowds of people passing by and the bustling flow of traffic on the streets, I felt a bit dazed. For the past 2 weeks, except for taking out the trash, I had hardly stepped foot outside my building. My shut-in nature was in full effect. Seeing this sight felt quite alien to me. As soon as I walked through the door, the chill from the central air conditioning made me shiver. There were lots of green plants, and the employees were all dressed in professional suits. A young man who looked only a few years older than me stepped forward to greet me. Even seeing my somewhat disheveled appearance, his expression didn't change. He led me to his seat and brought over a cup of hot tea. Sir, what kind of property are you looking to rent? It wasn't that the young man was looking down on me. It was mainly because I clearly looked quite young. The preconceived notion was that I didn't look like someone here to buy a house. Renting was the only task, usually left to a new hire like him. I didn't mind. I looked at the name tag on his chest. Actually, Mr. Miller, I said seriously, I'm looking to buy a place. Do you have any 2-bedroom units in Royal Gardens? Preferably something fully renovated and ready for immediate move-in. After blurting out the words I had prepared on the way here in one breath, I relaxed slightly, as if I had just completed a mission. Jeremy Miller froze for 2 seconds, then immediately regained his professional composure. He couldn't stop the excitement bubbling inside him. He'd been on the job for 3 months. And finally, a client with a genuine intent to buy had crossed his path. You can just call me Jeremy. Please wait a moment. I'll look up suitable listings for you right away. In his excitement, Jeremy's voice involuntarily rose. The veteran employees watched this scene and mocked him silently. He was still too young, thinking that a mere intent to buy meant a closed deal. Jeremy wasn't that naive, though. He just saw it as a valuable training opportunity. He brought over a tablet and introduced the details to me meticulously. Normally, listings in Royal Gardens are very scarce. Hardly anyone sells. But your timing is perfect. A listing just came in yesterday. It hasn't even been posted online yet. Take a look at this one. It's on the 16th floor, with an excellent view. The master bedroom window overlooks the ocean. 2 units per floor. 2 bedrooms, 1 living room, 1 kitchen, and 2 bathrooms. The renovation is very exquisite. The entire place, including the bathrooms, has central air. The furniture is all included. You'd only need to buy a washer. fridge, TV, and other basic appliances, to be able to move in with just your bags. It perfectly matches your requirements. The owner originally prepared it as an 18th birthday gift for his son. But since the son is studying abroad and has no intention of returning home, he's decided to sell it. The renovation was finished a year or two ago, and it's never been lived in. So the formaldehyde has already been aired out for you. Jeremy seemed even more satisfied with the apartment than I was. His longing tone was naturally persuasive. Look, these are actual photos of the interior. The overall theme features custom-made off-white furniture. The light green palette gives it a French vintage, fresh, and sweet style. It's very youthful, practically a dream home. There is just one thing I should mention, though I don't think of it as a flaw. The 75-square-foot master ensuite was converted into a walk-in closet. It can hold over 200 items of clothing. It's very suitable for a young person like you. If you don't need it, it can be converted back into a bathroom. Jeremy added further details. Looking at the photos and videos on the tablet, I was already head over heels. But I held back. What's the owner's asking price? $5 million. Jeremy watched my expression carefully. This price certainly wasn't cheap. But since the owner intended it as a gift for his son, he had spared no expense on the renovation. The structural work used high-quality materials, the tiles were seamless, and the custom furniture throughout the house cost nearly $900K. That walk-in closet alone cost $80K to craft. God, my heart was pounding. $5 million. I had a feeling. This was exactly the apartment the system had arranged for me. Would it be convenient for you now? I can take you there to see it in person. Jeremy was confident. Any young guy, once he saw this apartment with his own eyes, would find it very hard to refuse. No need. Contact the owner right now. Tell him he covers the closing costs and the price is $5 million. Not a penny more, not a penny less. All cash. If he agrees, I'll sign the contract right now, I said decisively. Jeremy was stunned. Who on earth buys a house this recklessly? Offering a price without even looking at it. And all cash. This wasn't $500. It was $5 million. He almost thought I was messing with him, but looking at my serious expression and hearing my firm words, the realization hit Jeremy. After 3 months of making practically nothing, was he really about to close a deal? Please wait a moment. I'll contact the owner immediately. He suppressed the urge to jump for joy right there and ran back to his desk to make the call. The price a seller sets is usually higher than their actual target price, specifically to leave room for the buyer to haggle. So, hearing that there would be no haggling, as long as they covered the closing costs, plus Jeremy emphasizing how firm my attitude was, the owner considered it for a moment and then readily agreed. They set a time for both parties to meet, discuss details, and sign the contract. Jeremy returned to the reception room with sparkling eyes, but what he saw made his blood boil. A tall, slender woman was talking to me. Her professional suit elevated her 7.0 beauty rating to an 8.0. Seeing Jeremy, the woman gave a small smile. Oh, Jeremy's here. I told you, you've just started and don't know the ropes yet. Why didn't you come get me? What if you gave Mr. Miller here a bad recommendation? Jeremy, after all, hadn't been in the professional world for long. He had tried so hard to act steady in front of me, but seeing this scene, he finally couldn't hold back his frustration. Tears welled up in his eyes. Sniffling, he stubbornly defended himself. I stay up late every night organizing files. I made sure my introduction just now was flawless. Seeing Jeremy cry, the woman's smile deepened, as if she had the situation in the bag. Jeremy, go out and pull yourself together. What does it look like, crying in front of a client? She leaned in slightly. She adjusted her angle to show what she thought was her best side. I'm so sorry, Mr. Miller, she said. Jeremy just graduated and doesn't have much work experience. I apologize for the embarrassment. I'll be personally following up on your case from now on. Here's my business card. Feel free to contact me at any time. I saw right through her. She was trying to steal a client and even throwing in some flirtation. That last line was dripping with suggestive undertones. But her voice wasn't even as good as Maya's. Does she actually think she's a beauty? I glanced at her hair, which was slicked with gel, and the conspicuous 7.1 rating above her head. I felt a shiver of disgust at how greasy she was. It's bad enough the system forces me to spend money on beauties every day. Why would I choose a woman like this when there's no requirement? I don't love anyone that much. When I'm in a bad mood, I get irritable. And when I'm irritable, I feel like showing off just how unstable I can be. I said gloomily. How do you people even communicate? Switching reps on me like this is a total waste of my time. I pointed at Jeremy. You, come over here. Are you done with the call? Can we sign or not? If not, I'm leaving. Jeremy had started regretting his outburst as soon as he stopped crying. Not only was this commission likely gone, but he had also offended the company's top saleswoman. He was utterly dejected, already wondering when he should hand in his resignation. But hearing my sharp words, he suddenly broke into a smile through his tears. He wiped his eyes and stepped forward, shoving the woman aside. Mr. Miller, everything is settled. The seller agreed to your offer. They can come in tomorrow to finalize the contract details. What time are you free? Tomorrow at 3:00 p.m. I replied with a nod. Wait, what's the rush? The woman interrupted. Did you forget we have to follow protocol? Let's do a proof of funds first. He's probably just here pretending to be a big shot. Don't blame me for not warning you. If you end up wasting your time. The woman spoke with a sarcastic sneer. Jeremy was furious. The company did have a proof of funds policy, but that was only for luxury properties worth tens of millions. But how could he say that? If he said it, it doesn't even 1 cent. Wouldn't it sound like he was mocking me for buying a house that only cost $5 million? Like it wasn't worth the trouble of a check? The woman saw there was no profit left for her, and since she had lost face, she decided to double down on the embarrassment to drive a wedge between us. I glanced at the woman. With a cold sneer, I slowly took out my phone. After passing the facial recognition for my banking app, I showed the screen to Jeremy. Is this enough? As the woman leaned in to get a look, I pulled the phone back. None of your business. After the woman stormed off with a face as dark as a burnt pot, Jeremy was moved to tears of gratitude. First, he apologized profusely, then expressed his thanks. It wasn't your fault, I said, completely unbothered. Inside, I felt a secret surge of satisfaction. You greasy, ugly woman, you're not worthy of a single cent from my pocket. Jeremy walked me out of the agency. I checked the time. It wasn't even 4:00 p.m. yet. I declined Jeremy's offer to drive me home. I decided to go shopping for a bit. I hailed a taxi and headed to the nearest shopping district. As soon as I got out of the car, I smelled a rich, yeasty aroma. It was coming from a bakery called Boulangerie Centrale. The decor was very cozy. When I pushed the door open, the scent became even more overwhelming. Warm lights shone on various breads and pastries. It was incredibly tempting. I picked up a tray. I added an Earl Grey milk tea pastry, a piece of black bean and pine nut, ciabatta, and a pistachio-flavored croffle. The names sounded so fancy. I'd never had them before, so I planned to have them as a late-night snack and tomorrow's breakfast. As I was getting ready to pay, the clerk brought out freshly baked egg tarts and canelés. Under her enthusiastic pitch, I added one of each. Just those 5 items cost $106. My eyes nearly popped out of my head. I silently pulled out my payment code. It's fine. Don't worry about it. We've got money now. If you don't put the bread in the fridge, please eat it within a day. In the fridge, it'll last 3 days. The egg tart is best eaten while it's still hot, to enjoy the best texture. The canelé will be crunchy on the outside and soft on the inside once it cools. It's very tasty. The cute cashier girl in the little pink apron said with a smile as she packed the items. I've always felt that people who work in bakeries are all sweet and soft. I kept a straight face, but my ears turned red as I nodded aimlessly. This was the first time since getting the system that I had seen a beauty with a rating over 8.0 in real life. That's right. The system rating for the cashier girl was a solid 8.1. It felt like I could only ever tip female streamers. If I told this girl right now that I'd give her $10,000, she'd think I was a psychopath, I thought to myself. Besides, I didn't have the guts. As I walked, I opened the warm egg tart. One bite, and it was so tender. The filling was actually 3 inches thick. No wonder it cost $19 for one tart. There happened to be a grill house nearby. The servers at the door greeted me enthusiastically. Since it was dinner time, I decided to have hot pot for dinner. It was my first time eating there, and I was absolutely shocked by their service. As soon as I sat down, they brought an apron to prevent oil splashes, a hot towel for my hands, and a free fruit plate. Knowing it was my first time, the waiter enthusiastically gave me recommendations. After asking about my tastes, he suggested that as a solo diner, I should just get the 4-grid pot, 2 grids of clear broth, 1 tomato, and 1 spicy. That saved me dozens of dollars. He also recommended the signature shrimp paste and crispy tripe. along with sliced beef all in half portions. As soon as the tomato soup boiled, he stepped forward to skim the foam and helped me prepare a bowl of celery and beef bit tomato soup. The taste was incredible. To ease the awkwardness of me eating alone, they even placed a giant plush doll in the seat across from me. After I indicated that I preferred not to be disturbed, they didn't come back. For someone like me who hates making choices, I felt a silent surge of happiness. I spent $500 today. Balance, $9,000 plus. Combined with the $10,000 allowance that hadn't been spent yet, that's $19,000 total. And I'm about to own a $5 million house. As an instant millionaire, I did the math and felt like I was floating on a cloud. The happiness felt so light, it was almost surreal. That night, after a shower, I lay in bed, eating a $59 canale. While opening TikTok, dozens of DMs had come in. Some were streamers asking for homework, while others were just people venting their eat the rich anger. When did I become someone people were jealous of? I scrolled through the TikTok streams for 10 minutes, but I couldn't find a single 8.0 rated woman that I liked. Why isn't Autumn streaming? Speak of the devil, my phone buzzed with a notification. Autumn, big brother, are you playing games today? Ethan, sure. Are you not streaming? Autumn, I've saved up enough money, so I'm too lazy to stream. I hopped off right after we finished playing yesterday. It turned out she was about to start college, and Autumn wanted to buy a gaming PC. When her parents heard it would cost $10,000, especially for gaming, they immediately said the budget was only $5,000. So Autumn thought she'd start streaming and take some boosting orders to see if she could earn a little extra cash to make up the difference. Autumn, big brother, you gifted me $10,000 yesterday. I can cash out half of that, right? My dad gave me $5,000, and with my savings, it's already enough. I don't need to stream anymore. She sent another voice message. Big brother, you spent $10,000, but we only played a few games. Don't you worry. From now on, whatever rank I am, you'll be that rank too. We're going to be the elite among the commoners. I couldn't help but burst out laughing. Sincerity really is the ultimate move. This young girl is so much better than those older women. I've got a bit of cash, and I just love to spend it. What I said yesterday stands. It's a gift for you. Now get the stream started. Hurry up. A few minutes later, welcome, big brother, to the stream. A second later, the screen was once again filled with gift effects. Level 33, Ethan gifted Carnival X3, WS. Level 33, Ethan gifted Starlights X38. Level 33, Ethan has leveled up to level 35. 3 Carnivals cost $9,000, and 38 Starlights cost $1,018. It was just barely over $10,000. I had perfectly hit my daily limit. Even though Autumn was a lot more pleasant to deal with, I didn't want to spend a single cent of my own money on tips. I used an alt account to follow Autumn, so I'd get the notification when she went live. Maya, who had just entered the stream, caught the tail end of the gift effects. Big brother, why are you tipping again? Autumn seemed a little panicked. Save those Starlights. Lurking behind her blank profile picture, Maya was practically grinding her teeth to dust. Big brother, hurry up and log in. Autumn complained slightly. You're always teasing me. I'm the type of guy who's all talk online, but a total social disaster in real life. Especially with someone as lively and innocent as Autumn, I felt a strong urge to keep teasing her. That 10K tip immediately boosted Autumn's concurrent viewers to nearly 1,000. Her follower count also reached over 300. For the first game, I picked Yao again. As per usual, Autumn picked her main to carry. In a 20-star ranked match like this, teammates usually don't say much once they see a national level badge. However, in this game, the marksmen on both sides were evenly matched. Our team's Sun Sheng got solo killed, and she started taking her frustration out on us. Jungler, what the hell are you doing? Who the hell picks Yao in a match like this? Before I could even type a response, Autumn fired back. You got solo killed because you're trash. Does your death have anything to do with Yao? Oh, you're so great? Why don't you go 1v5 then? I'm done. I'm going AFK. Go ahead. It makes no difference whether you're here or not. Guys, don't fight. I'll come down and help you right away. The mage really wanted to win. He cleared his wave and headed straight for the dragon lane. He timed it perfectly, hit the attack signal, and popped his ultimate, only to realize he was all alone. Sun Sheng is still at level 6 and just watching? If you had just helped for a second, that kill would have been yours. This person is clearly doing it on purpose. Don't help her anymore. I had finished eating my bread while riding on Autumn's head in-game, so I finally had a hand free to type. I only support those who can carry. I don't support feeders. Didn't I say I'm done? Why are you still playing Yao? Scared of being reported, huh? You're such a coward. Can't even afford to lose a few credit points? Getting solo killed is your destiny, I get it. I only feel like roasting people today, so I won't curse at you. Nice roast, big brother. I definitely approve of that verbal firepower. I sent 7 or 8 messages in a row, but the marksman didn't reply. I opened the scoreboard interface. Sure enough, Sun Shangsheng had her mic on. I didn't even need to listen to know she was spewing filth. I hit the report button instantly. System notification. Player, legendary noob, has been detected for severe verbal abuse. Number 7 in ports, deducted Daddy JC. Muted for 560 hours. Wait, how long is the mute? Hey trash, the two of us didn't even turn on teen chat. Must be lonely, screaming at yourself like that. A moment later, Sun Shangsheng ran straight under the enemy tower and died. After respawning, she didn't move an inch. LMAO. Did she actually lose her mind from anger? Looks like it, Autumn said, clearly enjoying the drama. People like her are better off AFK anyway. We win faster without her. At that moment, she was leading me into the enemy jungle to hide. The red buff brush was a mandatory path for the enemy mid laner to rotate. Sure enough, a sneaky Daji appeared. She had no idea someone would be camping her like this. She walked straight into the brush and was greeted by 2 burly men. She was so scared, she used her flash in the wrong direction. Autumn finished her off with a smooth combo. For the rest of the game, Autumn was like a ghost, camping in different bushes to pick off the enemy carries. Even when they tried to teamfight, they were always down to 4 people. High Ground lost at 10 minutes. Crystal shattered at 12 minutes. Autumn achieved a 10-game winning streak. Meanwhile, Maya hadn't taken any orders to play. As usual, she was working with the other boosters in her guild to finish some orders. A large defeat appeared on her screen. Her teammate, the marksman, hesitated for a moment. Knowing she was streaming, he sent her a private text. Your head isn't in the game. Take a break first. Maya, these high-rank orders I took have win rate requirements. Maya didn't say a word. She exited the game immediately. She gave a quick goodbye to her chat and ended the stream. She pulled out a cheap $1 plastic lighter. A click sounded. Maya's real name was Maya Lin. She had thin lips and a cool, detached lip color. She lit a cigarette. She had a look that seemed somewhat indifferent. Her face, which usually seemed unapproachable, now carried a hint of confusion. She didn't understand what she was doing anymore. On one hand, she had a guy with a bit of family money, who wasn't yet independent. On the other, a high roller who dropped tens of thousands without a second thought. Initially, Maya just wanted to make some money from streaming in her spare time. She wanted money, so of course she chose the wealthier option, Chris. But now, it was clear she had bet on the wrong horse. Ethan was far wealthier than she had imagined. She had spent the entire evening lurking in Autumn's stream. Like a masochist, she listened to Ethan's voice and watched the casual way he dropped gifts without even blinking. He was so composed. It felt like that girl, Autumn, was being played like a fiddle. Why did Ethan hide his wealth? Was he testing her? Well, the truth was out now. He definitely wasn't a good person. He was just after her money. Just like everyone else who sells smiles on the internet. Maya mocked herself. Her phone buzzed with an Instagram notification. It was a message from Chris. I'm traveling to your city next week. Let's hang out. Money really isn't that easy to earn. Maya glanced at it and tossed her phone aside. She was very young and beautiful. It wasn't that she lacked attention from men. Walking down the street, guys would often hit on her for her contact info. She even had older men drop hints to her. But then she thought about her mother, who had run off with a rich man. When Maya was only 10, leaving her husband and child without a word, Maya felt sick. Her mother was beautiful and had a tall, slender figure. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been able to land a rich guy. Maya looked exactly like her. But she didn't want to become like that woman. She didn't want to use her body as a bargaining chip to trade for short-term gain. In the beginning, everything was fine. Her father worked hard to make money, and she studied hard. She was at the top of her class. They were poor but happy, but the good times didn't last. To pay for her schooling, her father worked 2 jobs. One night, coming home exhausted, he tumbled down the stairs. The fall left him paralyzed from the waist down, unable to afford the expensive medical bills and long-term care costs. She had to drop out of high school early. Now, she was the one working 2 jobs. During the day, she worked at a construction site. At night, she streamed and took game orders. Even though she pushed herself to the absolute limit, she still couldn't make ends meet. The nursing home fees were too high. She wanted the best for her father. In the end, would she really have to sell her body and become the person she hated most? In just 3 days, Chris had already dropped several hints. He wanted her to send photos and do video calls. She had brushed him off every time. The contrast only filled Maya with more regret. Ethan had been with her for 2 months since she started streaming. He had never once made an inappropriate request. Maya felt truly relaxed whenever she was with him. During these past few days of playing games, she had been lurking in his stream, watching Ethan laugh and chat with other women. It made her irritable and restless, and her gameplay suffered because of it. Chris and her teammates were already starting to get annoyed. She could sense Chris's growing impatience. If she didn't agree to meet him in person this time, Maya had a gut feeling she would definitely lose this boss. If things really came to that, if she truly had to sell her body, and she went back to crawl to Ethan, would he even accept her? After spending time together all these days, she could feel that Ethan had a genuine soft spot for her. The only issue in Maya's heart was that she needed money. She loved money, who didn't? There was no shame in earning it. She had no cash and no degree. The only thing she possessed was this relatively young and capable body. Maya gave a cold laugh, crushed out her cigarette, and opened her pinned chat on Instagram. She sent a voice message. "Ethan, why haven't you come to see me yet? I've been waiting for you for so long." Her voice was soft and melodic, carrying a hint of playful charm. She always knew exactly where her strengths lay. But I had no time to deal with Maya. Today was the 3rd day since I got the system. At 20 years old, I was about to own my very own apartment, and in the prime real estate of City S no less. I cleaned myself up. I was in such a good mood that I felt like I was radiating positive energy. Even my round face in the mirror, with its features slightly crowded by fat, seemed to look a few notches more handsome. I arrived at the housing bureau 10 minutes early. To my surprise, the owners, a married couple, were already there. Jeremy Miller, the agent, introduced me. "This is the buyer." Both of them looked a bit surprised, since I really didn't look very old. "Hello, Mr. Miller," the husband said. "We're very happy you like our apartment. But are you sure you don't want to go see it in person first?" The middle-aged woman spoke politely. After hearing from Jeremy that I was buying it all cash, without even seeing the place, she couldn't help but feel a bit worried. If Jeremy hadn't repeatedly guaranteed everything, and even checked my proof of funds, she wouldn't have come today. "It's fine, I've looked at the photos and videos, and I don't have any questions. Let's just sign the contract now," I replied. Everything about this unit, the timing, the price, and the square footage, was just right. I was convinced that this was the apartment the system had arranged for me. The woman was silently stunned. They were worth tens of millions themselves, but they could never manage to do what I was doing. Buying a house in City S as casually as buying groceries. This was a $5 million cash purchase after all. Once the contract was signed, the funds transferred, and the title handed over, the middle-aged man spoke gently. "Selling the apartment to you, Mr. Miller? I feel at ease. When I originally planned this as a gift for my son, I spent several months on the design. My wife also came to supervise the renovation constantly. Between the tiles and the furniture, we made countless trips to the markets. This apartment really took a lot of our heart and soul." The woman nodded in agreement, her voice carrying a trace of unmistakable pride. "My husband is a designer. I really like the design," I said. "I don't have any plans to change anything for now." The man's tone grew even softer. "It's truly an honor." Having said that, they prepared to get up and bid me farewell. The woman picked up her handbag. The two of them shared a look. The usually cold and distant woman looked at her husband, and the look in her eyes was incredibly tender. Their relationship was so good. I watched their backs as they left, feeling a bit lost in thought. In my memory, my mother had never looked at my father with that kind of expression, perhaps because she had been a high school teacher for so long. She was always the majestic, uncompromising head of the household. Meanwhile, my father, as the house husband, was always cowering over ridiculous little things, never voicing his own opinions. Now that I had a 2-bedroom apartment and a daily income of $10,000, would my father change his mind about me? Would he choose me? I lacked the confidence, so I shook my head, refusing to think about things that would ruin my mood. The efficiency at this branch was incredibly high. The title was issued on the spot. In my hands was a fresh, red booklet. The gold-stamped real estate title certificate. The large letters were almost dazzling. Over the last few days, mostly everything had felt surreal. But now that the string of zeros in my account had transformed into this heavy weight in my hand, it felt real. I declined Jeremy Miller's offer to accompany me, though he thoughtfully hailed a taxi for me. He was all smiles. "Congratulations on your new home, Mr. Miller. If you need anything else in the future, just let me know anytime." Royal Gardens, Building 6, Floor 116. I stepped out of the elevator and quickly identified my apartment. It had a retro, light green door, fresh yet steady. The lock was a smart lock. I entered the code. The 30-square-foot entryway had a wall-mounted shoe cabinet with different size compartments inside to meet the storage needs of everything from boots to sandals. It could hold at least 30 pairs of shoes. I could put some small decorations on top of the cabinet, I thought. To the left of the entrance was the bathroom, which featured a dry-wet separation design. It was equipped with a smart toilet, a built-in bathtub, and an LED-lit mirror. The vanity was a fresh avocado green, paired with a half wall of pale pink and light green patterned tiles. The whole place felt vibrant and full of life. The living room had bright floor-to-ceiling windows, with a view of State University. Soft, sheer curtains hung on both sides, protecting my privacy without blocking the light. I walked into the kitchen. It had custom matcha-colored cabinets and solid-colored quartz countertops. An ultra-thin range hood was already installed, and there was a space reserved for a dishwasher. I pulled out my phone to list the things I needed to buy: a fridge, washer, dishwasher, vacuum robot, and some plants. Next was the most exciting part, the master bedroom. The main light was a floral crystal chandelier from the same series, though slightly smaller and with a different style. It had a viewing balcony, with a very open view. I could see the ocean in the distance. Jeremy was right. No young guy, after seeing this apartment in person, could possibly refuse it. It was about time for dinner. I planned to go to a nearby shopping mall to eat, and pick up some essential supplies while I was at it. After eating my fill, I bought a $10,000 washer-dryer set. I picked out 2 sets of 4-piece bedding and a summer quilt, along with pajamas, imported fragrances, and a bath set, plus some snacks and various daily necessities. I spent over $26,000. I'd actually had to log into my account and find a random streamer to tip a massive amount. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had enough cash back. My heart ached at the spending, but then I remembered I'd earn it back in less than 3 days, and I was instantly revitalized. I scheduled the technicians to come in 2 days to install the washer-dryer set. I dropped off the rest of my purchases at the new apartment and went back to my rental. I planned to wait 2 more days to save up some more money and buy everything I needed before officially moving in. Life needs a bit of ceremony. I wanted everything in my new home to be brand new. After a shower, wearing fresh, clean-smelling pajamas, sleeping on fresh, clean-smelling sheets, lying in a $5 million home, I couldn't imagine how happy a guy I was going to be. Over the next few days, Maya sent me voice messages every single day without fail. It started with once a day, then moved to twice morning and night. Then it became a morning, noon, and night routine. She was slowly testing my boundaries since I hadn't blocked her. Inside, Maya was secretly delighted. She even had a trace of smugness in her expression. If he hadn't blocked her, it meant he didn't hate her. Not hating her meant there was still a chance. But after 2 or 3 days with no reply, Maya's confidence inevitably turned into anxiety. Watching my account level continuously rise, knowing I was spending money on some other woman, she was both angry and frantic. She had just returned from the construction site. Tossing off her sweat-soaked clothes, she stepped into the shower. Working 2 jobs was indeed exhausting. Plus, since she had something specific to do tonight, Maya decided to take the night off. No streaming tonight. Instead, she spent her time following mirror selfie tutorials, awkwardly posing in front of the glass for a long time. She picked the one she was most satisfied with, opened her social feed, and set it to be visible only to a certain someone. She clicked post with a blank expression. Only her bright red ears betrayed her true emotions as she waited silently. A few minutes later, on her feed, a red notification finally appeared. She clicked in to see a single comment from Ethan. A few minutes prior, since Autumn wasn't streaming, I was boredly searching for a new target to spend money on. While scrolling through my feed, a very provocative image suddenly appeared before my eyes. Under a dim yellow light, long, slender fingers gripped a phone. The shot only showed a sharp jawline and tight curves, giving off a cold, distant vibe. But what took up most of the screen was the honey-toned skin shown below. The immediate impact of that sultry photo was enough to make anyone flush. Looking at it, I felt a tingle in my heart, but also a certain itch of annoyance. Maya had been flirting with me for 4 or 5 days straight. I listened to her voice notes, but never replied to her texts. I was essentially just enjoying the free show. Regarding Maya's previous behavior, I was originally so angry I could have killed someone. But maybe it's because I have money now, or because I got that $5 million apartment from the system. Watching a cheerful young girl play games and tipping her, or tipping a big beauty to pull in a steady 10K a day, my mindset had shifted. I actually look down on them now. After all, one is a boss, and the other is a paid companion. It's a purely transactional relationship, so it was only natural for Maya to choose the wealthier boss. There was nothing inherently wrong with it. People are just like that. She saw how I used to worship her and cater to her, even starving myself just to send her gifts. That's why Maya used to be so hot and cold with me. Now that I clearly have money, the once cold and distant girl is throwing herself at me. I've seen Maya for who she really is. Even though she tries every trick in the book with her voice notes, I was determined not to spend a single cent on her. But the moment I saw that photo on my feed, I wavered. That shameless woman is messing with my head. If I didn't have the system, I would have assumed this was some random photo from the internet. But as trashy as she is, her beauty was verified by the system at an 8.3 rating. Plus, those hands, I'd been staring at them for 2 months. There was no doubt it was Maya herself. I was torn. If I forgive this traitor just like that, will it just make her more spoiled? After a moment of silence, I decided it didn't matter. It wasn't like we were dating. I posted a comment. A smart person would have moved this to the DMs already. Maya's pounding heart finally settled. When she saw that comment, she couldn't help but feel a bit smug. Men, it only took a simple little trick. She sent a voice note, acting aggrieved as usual. You're really so hard to please. Ethan, sticker, you're so thirsty.jpg. What, are you not satisfied? A person's bottom line is broken down one step at a time. At this point, Maya didn't even remember the shame of taking the photo. She only felt a sense of pride and excitement at finally having caught me. Ethan, so this is how you take care of a big brother? You really earn every penny, don't you? I originally said it just to humiliate her, but then I thought about that photo. She probably sent it to a whole group of people. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. Was Chris one of them? I felt a surge of rage, like a husband who had been cheated on. I cursed under my breath. When facing Maya, I always find it hard to control my dark emotions. Maya froze. The tide of excitement vanished instantly. Her heart twinged. She pressed her lips together tightly. She sent another voice note. Maya, believe it or not, I haven't sent that to anyone else. Screenshot of settings.jpg. Ethan, oh. Then, what was the point of showing it to me? Maya decided to just lay it all out. Seeing you spend money on other women, it makes me upset, I laughed. I sent back a voice note. So you think a single photo is enough to get me to come back and spend money on you? I wouldn't dare. If I tip you and then get muted again, wouldn't that be a huge loss? Bringing up the past made Maya feel quite guilty. She gritted her teeth, deciding to go all in. Then what do you want? Send a video. I want to see your face. I don't tip ugly women. Maya was stunned for a long while. While she felt relieved, she also felt a strange sense of letdown. She thought I was after something else. Are you laughing at me? As if she didn't want to hear my sarcasm anymore. Maya immediately sent a video call request. I turned off my camera and waited a few seconds before slowly answering. She definitely lived up to her 8.3 rating. Her features were smooth and elegant. Her face was stunning. The most striking feature was her high, straight nose and her deep, soulful eyes. Her black hair was thick. She didn't have the typical innocent soft girl look that's popular nowadays. Because her skin wasn't perfectly pale, she looked a bit rugged, giving her a very striking, almost aggressive beauty. If I met a beauty like this in real life, a socially anxious person like me would only dare to steal a quick glance when she wasn't looking. But this was the internet. I hadn't even turned on my own video. So I let my gaze unscrupulously scan her over and over again. Maya kept her eyes downcast, her head slightly bowed. She didn't say a word. After 2 or 3 minutes, her ears were burning hot. Maya couldn't take it anymore and looked up. Have you seen enough? I heard the trace of superiority in her voice. I knew her well enough to know I shouldn't push her too far. It's all right. I took a screenshot. I'm hanging up. Start your stream. Maya opened her streaming room. People were gradually trickling in. She knew what I was going to do. But that was her goal, wasn't it? Maya told herself not to overthink it. Strawberry cream. Didn't you say you were taking a break? Little pudding. Yay, yay. More soul food for us. While the chat was still asking questions, I had already started tipping. Level 37, Ethan gifted Romance Train, X5. A romance train cost $400 each. That was $2,000 total. I felt like Maya wasn't worth a full 10K tip. Besides, if I spoiled her now, how would I maintain control of the situation as I move forward? Just as I was about to leave, a special effect comment hung in the air. This was a special perk, exclusive to users, level 40 and above. Level 40. Chris, I was wondering why you've been so cold to me lately. So you've managed to hook this boss's back, have you? Fine then, I'm out. Whistling wind, is another fight starting? Chris has leveled up again in just a few days. Summer, Ethan is pretty strong too. He just dropped 5 romance trains. That's $2,000. Dandelion. These two aren't even on the same level, okay? Chris is level 40, he spent $80,000. Ethan is only level 37, it looks close, but he's actually only spent $40,000. The difference is literally double. Maya frowned. This Dandelion guy was a total troublemaker. What a petty jerk. I flicked my wrist and kicked him out of the stream. Maya figured that, given the way she'd handled Chris's DMs over the past few days, he should have gotten the hint by now. They were both adults. There was no need to make things so awkward. She didn't expect Chris to be so persistent, showing up the moment she went live. Since she had chosen her goal, she couldn't waver anymore. Maya turned on her mic. Thanks for the gifts, Ethan. And thanks to Boss Chris for all your support lately. See you around. This was basically her telling Chris to get lost. It was close enough anyway. She didn't show the slightest hint of wanting him to stay. Chris, I'm telling you, don't think too highly of yourself. Stop acting so pure and noble. You don't even dare to send a photo. Who knows what kind of ugly face you're hiding? Ethan, do you have the balls to do a bestie PK with me? Some rich spenders will refer to the primary streamer they support, their absolute favorite, as their bestie. It was obvious that, while Chris hadn't spent much on Maya, his level was constantly rising. He must have been spending a fortune on his bestie. Boss, this is getting old, I said. I'm a gaming streamer. I don't do PKs. Maya frowned and replied to me in a DM. Ethan, you don't have to deal with this. I wasn't even planning to stream today anyway. Chris, Ethan's chickened out. That $2,000, you probably had to starve for days. Just to save that up, didn't you? Dod to your spendthrift system. Stage 1. Random task, starting in 5 minutes. Please spend 990,000 within 10 minutes. Grants 100% cashback. Task funds have been deposited into your chase card. The cold voice of the system suddenly rang out. I focused my eyes. This really was a pillow appearing right when I was getting sleepy. A face literally asking to be slapped. I'd be a fool not to hit it. Let's go, I typed. Maya froze. That sentence appeared on the public screen, showing exactly how much confidence I had. She went along with it, and in less than 2 minutes, a streamer named Natalie sent a PK request. Natalie wasn't a gaming streamer. She was a beauty streamer. She was used to doing PKs. She didn't have many fans, about 60 or 70,000, but compared to Maya's few thousand fans, her stats were much more impressive. Deep down, Natalie was intensely annoyed. She had met Chris. Back when she only had a few thousand followers, Chris had indeed helped her a lot, showering her with gifts without hesitation. But those gifts weren't free. They had only known each other for a week. When Chris demanded a video call, she was quite beautiful. And her streams had been picking up lately. But she could never keep any other big brothers or big sisters around, because Chris was too possessive. He loved getting into conflicts with anyone else who supported her. Chris considered himself her #1 boss, and her fans knew it. Some even shipped them together. She didn't dare break things off with Chris. First, she was afraid her fans would think she was ungrateful and stop following her. Second, she really couldn't predict what a crazy man like him might do. This lunatic treated her like his personal property, with zero regard for her feelings. Like this PK, for example, he told her. to go fight this little streamer he'd taken an interest in, and she had to go obediently like a dog. Yes, Chris loved tipping small streamers, and then acting flirtatious with them. At first, Natalie would get angry or jealous, but eventually she just watched with cold indifference. She even secretly hoped someone would hurry up and take this madman off her hands. Inevitably, it was because this madman hadn't gotten his way this time that he was lashing out. But that was fine. At least the PK money was being gifted to her. She'd just consider it compensation for her mental distress. Natalie composed herself, greeted the opposing streamer, and selected a 10-minute PK. As soon as it started, Chris sent Natalie a $1,000 rocket just to test the waters. On Maya's side, the progress bar color was instantly pushed out of sight. There were still 2 minutes until the system task began, so I didn't move. Maya's fans started to panic, constantly urging me in the chat. The seconds ticked by. Maya's fans were losing their minds, tagging everyone in the fan group to start crowdfunding, but they didn't have any big spenders to begin with. Their funds were limited. Plus, they had almost never done a PK like this, so they were incredibly uncoordinated. A minute passed, and they only managed to make their side's progress bar barely visible. The fans began to feel hopeless. Chris, however, breathed a silent sigh of relief. Seeing how fast my level had risen, he was actually a bit uncertain. He had just challenged me in the heat of the moment. He sent another rocket to test the depth of the opposing side's pockets. He had been on guard, waiting for a last-minute tower snipe, but it turned out I was just a paper tiger. Seeing no movement, he went over to Maya's stream and started mocking her. Chris, Ethan, are you going to run away with your tail between your legs like last time? Streamer, you thought he came back for you because he changed his mind? The truth is, he can't wait to see you embarrassed. Maya lowered her eyes. Deep down, she was starting to believe it too. Otherwise, why wouldn't Ethan send her any gifts? When he was supporting that other small streamer, he dropped 10 or 20,000 at a time. She felt confused and hurt, but eventually she found a sense of calm. Thinking back on her own actions of chasing after money, someone as lowly as her probably didn't deserve his support anyway. Thinking about it that way, it wasn't hard to understand. Even if Ethan wanted her to look like a fool, it was only what she deserved. She had it coming. Maya stopped her amateurish attempts at soliciting votes and simply waited for the PK timer to run out. On the other side, Natalie, who was busy soliciting votes, felt a bit bad for her, but was also enjoying her misfortune. First, this small streamer got targeted by the madman, and then she was toyed with by her own boss. She'd heard that. Her boss was the one who made her accept this PK. In the end, he didn't spend a cent, leaving this small streamer to lose all her dignity. In front of her fans, she even felt embarrassed for her. A second later, Natalie's pitying and superior expression instantly froze. The opposing progress bar shot up like it was on a rocket, rising at high speed. God-tier spendthrift system. Preparation time over. Task countdown. Starting now. Please spend 990,000 within 8 minutes. I expertly recharged my account and started showering gifts. Gifted Carnival X1. GS. Gifted Carnival X1. Gifted Carnival X1. X1. The notification repeated 10 times, meaning I had just dropped 30K. This only took a few seconds. Chris, what's the rush? When have I ever let you lose? He didn't hold back anymore either. He sent 20 carnivals in a row, pushing the progress bar in Maya's stream back down. Before he could even celebrate, I sent exactly 21 carnivals. Chris's face went dark. He sent 30. I unhurriedly sent 31. This repeated over and over. No matter how many Chris sent, I always stayed exactly one gift ahead of Chris. I was handling him with ease, like a cat toying with a mouse. I watched him scramble in a panic, completely in control. Chris was fuming as he watched me send one more than him every single time. Blinded by rage, he didn't even notice his balance was dropping. Just now, he found he couldn't click the button anymore. Only then did he realize that the $100,000 he had topped up was completely gone. His family had a bit of money, but if his parents found out he had spent this much on a streamer, they would definitely break his legs. Natalie was already over the moon. Seeing that he seemed ready to stop, she quickly said, Chris, I'm fine. It's just a small PK match. If we lose, we lose. Don't push yourself too hard. In Natalie's stream, the few fans who were sick of Chris were also being sarcastic. Looks like he can't outgift the other guy. Is Chris tapped out already? LMAO, I'm done. He was the one who insisted Natalie do this PK. Shut up, Chris barked. Having been pampered since childhood, Chris couldn't stomach this ridicule. His mind, which had cleared for a moment, instantly plummeted back into a state of blind rage. Chris took the $250,000 he had saved up over 10 years and dumped every cent of it into his account. Anger had completely hijacked his brain. He stopped looking at my numbers and just stared at the progress bar, clicking Carnival over and over. It wasn't long before Chris realized he couldn't click again. His account balance was now less than $3,000. He couldn't even afford one more gift. What drove him to despair was that the progress bar was still slowly following right behind him. Chris slumped into his chair, defeated. At that moment, the progress bar in the other stream stopped too, maintaining its position just a hair's breadth behind. There was only a minute or so left in the PK. Chris held onto a sliver of hope. Is that prick on the other side out of money too? Suddenly, 2 flashy comments floated across Natalie's stream. Level 49, Ethan, out of money? Level 49, Ethan, open your eyes and watch me perform. Back in Maya's stream, I glanced at my balance over $500,000. I checked the system timer, 58 seconds. Plenty of time. My fingers began clicking incessantly. Maya sent me another DM. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough. We've already passed them. Ethan, you don't need to spend any more. I didn't have time to pay attention to her. In Maya's stream, universes were falling like rain. Before one animation could finish, the next one was already starting. Chris's last shred of hope was shattered. He was on the verge of a total breakdown. In Natalie's stream, the fans started getting snarky. The other side is the real deal. They didn't even stop for a breath. Chris really kicked a steel wall this time. After seeing how arrogant he was, ooh, I thought, he was at least a millionaire. Turns out he tapped out after 300K. I'm embarrassed for him. Imagine having that little strength and trying to pick a fight. He's got no class either. Natalie is so unlucky to be stuck with a guy like him. A person like Chris was used to being put on a pedestal everywhere he went. His reputation was everything. Seeing the comments in Natalie's stream, he completely lost it. He started sending voice messages, screaming insults. After only a few, he was reported by the fans. He was promptly muted. A second later, a large message appeared. You have been removed from the room. By the moderator, Natalie. Chris couldn't believe it. Since he couldn't enter the stream to message her, he could only send a private DM. What the hell do you mean by this? I just spent over $300,000 on you. Natalie held her breath, suppressing her disgust. She couldn't pretend to like this madman for even a second longer. You're insulting my fans. You're making it very difficult for me. Let's talk once you've calmed down. Chris was livid and tried to send a voice message. But the moment he let go, a large red exclamation mark appeared next to the chat bubble. The recipient has enabled friend verification. You are not their friend. Please send a friend request first. You can only chat once they have accepted. Chris's eyes were bloodshot. His face turned a sickly gray-black. He couldn't catch his breath. His eyes rolled back, and he fainted. Meanwhile, the system timer hit the final 3 seconds. It was the final 3 seconds of the PK. A beautiful notification sound rang out. God-tier spendthrift system. Congratulations on completing the random task. Spent 990,000. Cashback has been sent to the host's chase card. The PK was won, and Maya's stream turned into a carnival. I knew Ethan and Maya were the real deal. Ethan is really going all out for his girl. Came here to see how much the big shot spent. Probably $1 million. He's definitely a legend. Rich boy, please sponsor me. Big brother, don't be so strict about gender. Maya looked completely dazed. She knew her gamble had paid off. She could take a $500,000 cut from that $1 million. And $500,000 was enough to pay for her father's premium care facility for at least 2 years. Snapping out of it, Maya said with a raspy voice, "Thank you, Ethan, for your generosity." On the other side, Natalie turned on her mic. Big brother, you're so powerful. I'm so jealous of Maya. I'm almost in tears from being beaten so badly. But a bet is a bet. I don't have much to offer. So I'll perform a dance for the big brother and Maya. A high-energy, dynamic beat started playing. Natalie, who looked quite cute, was surprisingly powerful and sexy when she danced. No wonder Chris was obsessed enough to spend hundreds of thousands on her. But looking at Natalie's restless, ambitious vibe, I figured Chris's money had been spent for nothing. Natalie, indeed had no intention of hiding her ambition. Chris's arrogant behavior had already caused a lot of dissatisfaction among her fans. Moreover, she had just squeezed another huge sum of money out of Chris thanks to this PK. Seeing that he was likely tapped out, she estimated there was no more profit to be had from him. Riding the momentum of the situation, Natalie decided to cut ties with him. I had just pulled a major power move and made $990,000. Maya got her $500,000 cut, and Natalie had sucked the very last drop of nourishment out of Chris. The only person who suffered in this world was Chris. He lost his money and the girl. Most importantly, his challenge failed and he got humiliated. He lost a massive amount of face. Why didn't I have time to hook that big brother from the other side? Natalie looked regretfully at the disconnected screen. She bit her lip, filled with jealousy. How come I never meet a big brother? Who spends money without blinking like that? Natalie was only halfway through her dance. When Maya's face turned as dark as coal, she disconnected the call immediately. I sent a private DM. Did I tell you that you could hang up? That was $1 million performance. After a long pause, Maya sent a voice message. Her voice was muffled, and she kept it very low. I'll dance for you. Don't look at her. My figure is much better than hers. I chuckled. You know how? I can learn. How long am I supposed to wait for that? 3 days. Give me 3 days. In 3 days, I promise I'll show you. Maya was practically ready to swear an oath to the heavens. Tomorrow was the day I planned to move into my new home. I couldn't afford to stay up late. I didn't bother replying to Maya. I thought I'd be too excited to sleep. But I actually fell asleep instantly in my dilapidated rental. I woke up early the next day. I grabbed my important documents and a couple of decent-looking outfits, and I was gone. I had told my landlord last night that I wouldn't be renewing. It was a month-to-month rental anyway, and it hadn't expired yet. I didn't bother packing the rest of my junk. I let the landlord keep my security deposit in exchange for cleaning up the place. Naturally, the landlord agreed immediately. The deposit was worth a month's rent. Plus, there were some things I left behind that he could probably resell. Not to mention, my lease wasn't even up yet, so he basically made a few extra days of rent for free. He was more than happy to deal with the aftermath. I had scheduled the washer-dryer installation for 10,000 a.m. I arrived at the new place quite early. I didn't want to waste time. With the $990,000 that hit my account yesterday, I had plenty of cash to throw around. In terms of my mindset, I still share some common traits with the older generation. I believe in saving where you should, and spending where it counts. For unnecessary expenses, I'm still a bit of a cheapskate. But for a house I might live in for the rest of my life, and for appliances I'll use for at least 10 or 20 years, I believe in buying the absolute best within my budget. That way, I won't have to deal with frequent repairs or replacements due to quality issues in the future. It's actually more cost-effective. Once I cleared up my logic, I stopped being stingy. I wasn't going to just stare at the $1 million balance and act like a miser. First, I called the appliance shop owner to ask about an exchange. When he realized I wanted to pay extra to upgrade to their most high-end washer-dryer set, the owner was ecstatic and readily agreed. This top-tier model cost over $50,000 per unit, 1 washer and 1 dryer. Came out to over $100,000. Then I immediately called the luxury appliance sales rep and demanded that within the day, they deliver the most expensive model in their store. A $60,000 French multi-door oxygen-controlled ice-making fridge. I also ordered a projector that works in daylight, a self-cleaning robot vacuum, a multifunctional dishwasher, and so on. All the highest specs. That was another $30,000. Luckily, I had the foresight to keep the number of the appliance store owner from them all. Under his enthusiastic advice, I also picked up a bunch of small household appliances, things like a hairdryer, rice cooker, oven, microwave, air purifier, and electric toothbrush. I bought the whole lot. One-stop shopping, and all premium goods. For example, a Dyson hairdryer for several thousand, and a Panasonic rice cooker for several thousand more. Even though I don't know how to cook, I want to have everything. That's just how I roll now. Spent another $40,000. Total spending reached over $260,000. A quarter of that $990,000 was gone before it even got warm in my pocket. But man, this money is no object. Way of shopping felt incredible. With the power of cash, the owners promised that everything would be delivered and installed today. I decided to stay in the apartment and wait for the technicians. I was getting a bit bored. So I aimlessly opened TikTok. Autumn's sleep schedule is about as messed up as mine. She definitely wasn't awake yet. Yesterday, just to slap that crazy guy's face, I originally only wanted to spend 2,000, but ended up gifting Maya 1,000,000. Even though it wasn't my own money. It still hurt. There was absolutely no way I was spending any more on that woman. Even if it was system money. I scrolled through a few short videos, until I finally saw something that interested me. It only had 10 or 20,000 likes, but the quality was very high. An elegant woman dressed in a moon-white robe, held a pippa with her head bowed and eyes lowered, softly singing and playing a classical piece. The music was delicate and refined, the strings sounding like soft whispers or heavy rain. Her voice was soft, melodic, and pleasant. It was a clear, scholarly voice, refined and graceful. My attention was captured instantly. Her profile picture showed she was live. Without hesitation, I clicked into the stream of this girl named Elena. Even though it was a morning stream, she had over 600,000 followers, so the viewer count was quite high. She wasn't in the exquisite ancient style set from the video. The room looked small. She wasn't wearing the robes either, just a simple white shirt, though it gave her a different kind of pure schoolgirl charm. Level 56. Ethan has entered the room. After dropping 990,000 in gifts yesterday, my level had jumped to 56. In any stream, I was now a big brother that couldn't be ignored. Welcome, Ethan, to the stream. Is there a song you'd like to hear? You can usually get the streamer to say your name. A smart streamer, like Elena, would take the initiative to show off her talent, to try and keep a big spender around. Ethan, I came here after seeing your video. How come you're not wearing those robes? Sweetie, I stream every morning and evening. In the mornings, I'm mostly practicing in the music room at school. The evening streams are more formal, with a proper background, and matching costumes. Did you see the Pippa song video? I'll sing that one for you then. Elena was very proactive. Once the song was over, she asked, Sweetie, was my singing okay? I checked the time. The technicians were almost here, and I wasn't going to listen for free. Level 56, Ethan gifted a TikTok Yacht X Big Meat Bun, 6T6T6, gifting this early in the morning. Big brother, look at me. I won't change my name until I'm famous, dropping 10K just like that. I'm drooling from the corner of my mouth. The boss is crazy. Totally insane. Obviously, the gift was her answer. After sending it, I immediately left the stream. Elena was so surprised her mouth hung open. It wasn't just because of the $10,000 gift. She was a streamer with 300,000 followers after all. She was shocked that she had actually landed one. A level 56 whale had actually taken the bait. You have to realize, she'd been streaming for a year, and she only had 3 or 4 level 50 plus regulars in her stream. Don't let the high levels fool you. Those big spenders are incredibly shrewd. None of them drop cash unless they see results. It was rare to find a big brother with such loose pockets. Crossing her path. Unfortunately, he only listened to one song, dropped a gift, and logged off. She didn't even have time to thank him. She scrambled to send a private DM, desperately trying to reach him. Elena, sweetie, I'm so moved. You're so good to me for our first meeting. Thank you so much. I'll be streaming tonight with a new look. Come see me if you have time. Heart, sticker.jpg. I didn't respond. First of all, once my daily 10K limit is used up, there is no way on earth I'm spending my own money on a woman. Besides, I didn't have time to look at DMs. My phone rang. The first wave of delivery men had reached the gate. The security at Royal Gardens was very responsible. They had stopped the delivery trucks. I had to run down to explain things to the guards in person. It was right around 8:00 or 9:00 a.m. The peak time for people heading to work or school. The neighbors in the complex watched curiously. Seeing the endless stream of goods, they couldn't help but click their tongues. In a rental house, it was impossible to buy so many high-end appliances. That washer-dryer set alone cost over 100,000. That meant the apartment must have been bought. Looking at me scurrying around, I clearly looked like a student, probably from State University. They wondered which wealthy family's son had come here for school. A middle-aged man passing by could only think sourly to himself. Luckily, God had given him an opening. When God closes a window, he must close a door too. Look at that build. He's at least a 200-pound lard-ass, the man thought spitefully, his eyes red with envy as he stared. The more he looked, the more familiar the guy seemed. Those clothes, that build. Isn't that the fat kid who was renting the room next to mine? Ethan? I heard someone call my name and turned around. When I saw it was that middle-aged guy, I couldn't help but scowl in disgust. It really is you. The man flashed a fawning smile. His beady eyes scanned the mountain of goods behind me. You hit the jackpot? What are you doing in a place like this? I didn't feel like listening to a single word of his nonsense. After giving instructions to the security guard, I led the technicians straight upstairs. The guard saw the middle-aged man trying to follow me and blocked his path at the entrance. No unauthorized personnel allowed. I know that kid. He's my roommate. We live together right down the street. In that low-income housing block, the area he pointed to was basically a slum. The guard looked at him like he was a total lunatic. This young man is a property owner in this complex. Stop lurking around here. If you come near here again, I'm calling the police. The man could only grumble and slink away in a huff. If I had been there, I'd have definitely written that guard a letter of commendation. After all the furniture and appliances were set up, I spent 2 blissfully lazy days at home. Every day, I just spent my time tipping Autumn and Elena, the girl who played the pipa. I was starting to get a little bored, slumping onto the sofa. I clicked into a random stream. A pretty girl was, earnestly showing off a Maltese puppy in her hands. But the chat was full of nothing but trolls. Her beauty rating was an 18-0, just barely hitting the system's mark. The little puppy sat obediently in her hands, occasionally wagging its tail and tilting its head at the camera. My heart melted, and I rapidly clicked 5. TikTok yachts, level 56, Ethan gifted. TikTok yacht x5, level 56, Ethan gifted to the puppy. After tipping $1 million to Maya, plus the daily 10,000 from the previous tasks, I had already spent over $1.1 million on TikTok. My account level had now reached 56. Sunshine, whoa. A level 56 whale, taking a selfie in the front row. Soy milk maker, holy crap. Dropping a yacht just like that, that's $2,000 a pop. Rich people really don't care about money, do they, Sage? If you have that much spare cash, you should spend it on your family. The girl froze in place. She mainly streamed to sell the puppies, and usually only received tips worth a few dollars at most. Receiving such a massive amount all at once, how could she ever repay it? She felt a wave of unease. Thank you, Ethan, for the gifts. She hesitated for a second, then stroked the puppy's head reluctantly. She carefully took the puppy's paw and waved it at the screen. Ethan, you like puppies, right? What do you think of this one? Its fur is a bit too long, so it's technically disqualified from shows. It's not show quality, but it's the absolute best for a pet. The girl scratched her head bashfully. Its face is very sweet. If you like it, you can have it. You gave me such an expensive gift after all. Ethan, I'm serious. I've looked up this breed before. They aren't cheap. As soon as he said that, the chat that had been flirting with the rich lady instantly turned toxic. Puppy bark. Spend 10K. And try to take home a 20K purebred Maltese? The nerve of some people. Everyone just loves pretty girls. I'm done. Apparently, 10K is all it takes to hook a beauty and get a pedigree dog for free. Stop fighting everyone. I'm the one giving it to him. He didn't ask for it. The girl panicked as she watched the hostile comments. I misjudged you. You talk about running an honest business, but you're just another gold digger for a rich boss. LMAO. Rich boss? More like a joke. The streamer only gets 5,000 after the platform cut. A puppy of this quality is at least 10 or 20,000. He's playing the long game. Isn't he making a 50% profit here? LMAO. This streamer is an idiot. You think rich bosses are that easy to find? Nowadays, people just rent accounts to act big. Be careful, or you'll lose everything. I knew the price of the dog. Normally, they really did cost 10 to 20,000. I checked the time, it hit 0. My allowance refreshed, and a system prompt popped up. God, tier spendthrift system, congrats on completing the weekly challenge. Reward, 1 mystery box draw. Stage 2, musical challenge. Random task, starting now. Favorability, system unlocked. Daily allowance increased to $20,000. Just in time. Level 56, Ethan gifted TikTok 1x1. 20 identical notifications flooded the screen. Rocket launch effects played one after another. The chat went silent for 10 seconds, then exploded into a frenzy of scrolling. $2,000 each, he just dropped 40,000. Handsome, please feed me. Hey, I recognize you. Aren't you the one who just said he was a fake? Holy crap, this is a real whale. God tier spendthrift system. The puppy seller girls. Favorability has reached 60. Reward, 1 mystery box draw. God tier spendthrift system. First achievement reached. Reward, 6-minute 100% unlimited black card cashback trial. Target, no gender limit. G. Restriction, streamers only. Countdown starting now. GSPA, NISTSPAGs ends trapping now. The cold system voice echoed in my ear. My usually slow brain was working lightning fast now. My heart hammered in my chest. I immediately exited the stream. I clicked into the trending beauties category and picked a room at random. The countdown was ticking away second by second, making my nerves fray. I didn't even see what the streamer looked like. I only saw the 8.6 rating above his head. It was a male streamer, currently in a PK with a bald female streamer. The guy was handsome, but he was an educational streamer, focusing on English teaching. The moment the connection started, the bald woman scanned him up and down. "Hey fam, we're linked with a hottie." The male streamer, Cody, greeted her politely. "Hey handsome, how about you do a dance for the ladies in my room? If they're happy, they'll make sure you're well taken care of." The bald woman, Barb, teased him. Cody frowned, already feeling disgusted. "I'm not a dance streamer. I'm an educator." "Well, let's start the PK then. Let me see. Sue, you teach English, huh? Oh, and you studied abroad?" Barb looked even more pleased. If she could make a high IQ pretty boy cry, the ladies in her stream would go wild with the tips. "Listen to me, little brother. That gibberish you're speaking is useless. Look at your points. Nothing. Just serve this bird right. Wait, how do you say that? Oh, right, bird. Barb here will give you 10 carnivals." Barb intentionally lowered her gaze, giving a greasy smirk. This move earned a roar of approval from her fans. They all praised her for being funny. Cody's audience was mostly innocent. College students, mostly guys. They didn't have much money. They were there for the company. As a result, Cody's PK score compared to Barb's was pathetic. Hearing that disgusting woman insult Cody like that, some of his fans rushed over to her room to call her out. Barb was thick-skinned. "Hate watching is still watching," she shamelessly said, thanks to the fans across the way for the traffic. "I don't mind. Every little bit counts." She was smug. In these situations, the angrier the other side got, the more her viewers loved the drama. Barb's stream was a frenzy of celebration. Gifts were being thrown constantly, and the screen was filled with filthy comments. Cody and his fans had never dealt with anything like this. The sight of those creeps left the chat speechless. Cody was already about to just hang up and leave. Right at that moment, the blue progress bar instantly surged ahead. Level 56. Ethan gifted Carnival X1. Cody was stunned. Where did this big shot come from? The fans in the stream were also dazed, but they quickly snapped out of it and started celebrating. They rushed over to Barb's stream to gloat. Take that. We've got a big brother in our room too. You look down on us, you piece of trash. Put up some points. Aren't you rich? Weren't you acting all arrogant? Don't tell me you're chickening out now. LMAO. Barb still felt like she was in control. It wasn't like she hadn't faced a tough opponent before. She started inciting her followers to put up points. Those with money, give us some support. Those without, give us some hype. Look at that little punk on the other side acting all smug. His lapdog actually dares to come and act wild on our turf. We have to show them what's what. I'm telling you. They can't even imagine the kind of wealth my lady fans have. After her little speech, the ladies in her stream began opening their wallets generously. Barb was so excited she was practically spitting. Thank you to my level 70 lady fan for the 50 spaceships. This was a special gift only available at level 70. At $20,000 each, that was $1 million in an instant. Her red progress bar immediately took over more than half the screen. Her fans instantly became insufferable, heading to Cody's stream to spew filth. This boss is probably just some guy he's sleeping with trying to save face for him, right? Ha ha ha, well his man's strength is lacking. Put on some fishnets and dance for us. If our ladies are happy, maybe they'll throw you some lunch money. The situation started to become one-sided again. The fans in Cody's stream were fuming with rage, wishing they could reach through the screen and slap Barb across her face. Thank you so much, Mr. Miller, for the carnivals. Truly, thank you so much. Cody tried to stay calm as he thanked me, but his eyes were already turning red. He still tried to comfort his fans. Everyone, don't go to the other room to argue. Don't give her the traffic. It's not worth getting your accounts banned over someone like that. If you get bitten by a mad dog on the street, you can't exactly bite back, can you? I didn't have any time to listen. My fingers were moving at lightning speed. A normal person can click at least 3 times a second. I wasn't exceeding human limits, but I hit a steady pace of 5 or 6 clicks per second. Carnival combo x 50 dot. Carnival combo 110. Carnival combo x 500. Both sides were originally shouting at each other, but as the carnival combo reached the terrifying hundreds, and then nearly 1,000, both sides went quiet. In other streams, the chat is usually full of text with a few GIF notifications. In Cody's stream, it was all GIF notifications with a few lines of chat mixed in. The continuous gift effects completely covered up the filth that Barb's fans were trying to spray. People couldn't even see what they were typing. Barb's fans could only shut up, slinking back to their own stream. Cody's eyes were red. He really hadn't expected a guy to be this good to him. They hadn't even had a single conversation before this. God-tier spendthrift system. Cody's favorability has reached 60. Reward, 1 mystery box draw. The massive influx of traffic from the gifts brought in a huge crowd. New viewers were coming in totally confused. Sometimes I really have to laugh at how broke I am. Wait, how much did you say he spent? Would it kill the world to make me a rich man for once? First time seeing someone use universes for a combo. I wouldn't even dare to spam a $1 gift like that. Carnival combo X116 Des. God tier spendthrift system. Black card trial has expired. Dots 9. For a full 5 minutes. I hadn't stopped for a single second. My hand was so tired it was about to cramp. I only regretted that the maximum price for a single gift was only $3,000. In the end, I spent over $5 million and reached level 63. Without a doubt, Cody achieved an overwhelming victory. The person who loses the PK has to accept the penalty. He wanted her to slap herself, while saying she was a piece of trash. Suddenly, Barb's stream cut out. She had run away. Ugh, what a coward. I went to check the other stream. That group of greasy women is still laughing over there, saying we can't do anything to her. Barb indeed didn't think anyone could do anything to her. She was a repeat offender. She followed what she considered a funny hate-fame route. She would link up with handsome male streamers for PKs, and through a series of greasy, insulting words and behaviors, pressure them. If she won, she'd set insulting penalties to treat the older ladies in her stream. If she lost, she'd just hang up. Her lady fans actually praised this runaway behavior. Guillermo, beloved, fantasizing about whether the handsome guy on the other side would cry from frustration. A clown-like existence like her actually had over 1 million followers. After all, there were too many women with broken self-esteem who loved watching handsome guys get torn down. After Barb ended her stream, she even opened a bottle of champagne to celebrate. She thought to herself, thanks to that rich punk on the other side for the stimulation. My lady fans dropped over $1 million too. Then, the head of her agency called. You need to post an apology statement immediately. The public sentiment about you online is not looking good. Boss, relax. It's just a few marketing accounts posting stuff. It's all just giving me free traffic. Barb had a careless look on her face. In her heart, she was disdainful. The boss was getting more and more cowardly. He actually wanted a 1 million follower influencer like her to apologize to some small-time streamer. I gave him a link because I was doing him a favor. I even brought him a ton of traffic. Barb was feeling very smug. Unfortunately, she had miscalculated this time. I had single-handedly spent $5 million, which led to marketing accounts reposting the story like crazy. After a night of fermenting, it hit the trending topics. Barb's disgusting words and actions caused widespread public outrage. It even caught the attention of official authorities. An investigation revealed she was a serial offender. Many male streamers who had done PKs with her stood up to expose Barb's disgusting behavior. The general public turned on her en masse. TikTok's official account and Barb's comment sections were overrun. The platform was quite efficient, providing a solution that same day. They notified us, dedicated to maintaining a clean and harmonious online environment, as Barb has been suspected of inciting conflict and cyberbullying in violation of community guidelines. Her account has been permanently banned. In one fell swoop, they cleared out this toxic nest, filled with maggots. Of course, that all happened later. After the trial time hit 0, The remaining 4 million or so in my account vanished as well. I shook my aching wrist. I had no interest in the stream anymore, and just logged out. I checked my bank app, ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, millions, over $5 million. I'd had 5 million before, but it turned into a house in less than 2 days. How can fixed assets compare to liquid cash? The corners of my mouth curled up frantically. This was over $5 million of my own money, unrestricted and ready to be spent however I wanted. It was already after midnight. I held my phone close, dressed in my loose pajamas, and lay down on my king-size bed for a beautiful night's sleep. The next day, I got a full 8 hours of sleep. In my cool, air-conditioned room, I reviewed the system notifications from yesterday. First, the first stage, which lasted a week, with a daily allowance of 10,000, had been completed. Now I have already moved on to the second stage. It lasts for 1 month. The allowance has increased to 20,000. It has doubled exactly. Most importantly, 2 new systems have been unlocked: random tasks and favorability. I don't quite know how random tasks work yet, but I have definitely figured out the favorability system. From what I can tell, as long as someone has a beauty rating over 8, once their favorability toward me reaches 60 or higher, I am rewarded with 1 mystery box draw. My newbie reward was a single mystery box draw. I actually ended up pulling a house worth $5 million. I am well aware of how incredible these mystery box draws can be. That is why, after I got the 6-minute black card trial yesterday, I was willing to gamble away a minute of that time, just to find another stream to tip. Fortunately, my gamble paid off. It seems that as long as their beauty rating is over 8, regardless of gender, once their favorability hits the mark, they can provide me with a mystery box draw. The male streamer Cody, through My Hero Saves the Beauty Act and the Power of Cash, successfully hit a favorability rating of 60. I successfully earned 1 mystery box draw, combined with the one the system gave me. When the puppy seller girl's favorability hit the mark, I now have 2 mystery box draws. I got up and went to the bathroom. After finishing my shower, I piously clicked the mystery boxes to start the draw. God-tier spendthrift system. Congratulations. You have received fat-burning candy. 1 top-spec Apple product bundle. Funds of 180,023 have been deposited into your Chase card. Although the Apple bundle is only worth 180K, I am not disappointed. As an instant millionaire, the money in my pocket hasn't even gotten warm yet. It is unlikely that I would take the initiative to spend that much on high-end tech right now. At most, I would have just replaced my phone. After all, I have been using my current phone for 3 years, and it was a hand-me-down from my mother. To be honest, when I was tipping yesterday, I was terrified this old brick wouldn't be able to handle it, and would just freeze up. But now, as if the system understood exactly how stingy I am, the Apple Bundle reward solved my most urgent problem. As for the fat-burning candy, it was a bouncy, pale green gummy. It even came with instructions. After consumption, excess fat will gradually be shed within 1 week. Maintain an optimal physique for life. I swallowed it without a second thought. Under my mother's strict discipline and excessive pressure, I began overeating as soon as I hit puberty in middle school. Eating was my way of relieving stress. Standing at 6'1" and weighing 220 pounds, it's safe to say, I never had a beautiful adolescence. I only earned the nickname Fatty. After getting the system, I didn't even have the urge to buy new clothes. I felt that dressing up would only make me look ridiculous. But how could I not envy those fit, well-dressed guys? In the summer, I'd be covered in sweat just by moving around. When people covered their noses and walked away, how could I not feel self-conscious? The more pressure I felt, the more I wanted to binge eat. And the fatter I got, the more my mother looked down on me and restricted me. This cycle repeated, forming a vicious loop. But now, all I had to do was eat 1 tiny candy to solve the problem. That had plagued my entire youth. I even wish I could fast forward 7 days, just to see what I'll look like. Forcing down my excitement, I stopped overthinking. I opened the Apple website and began browsing rapidly. I added the top-spec versions of every product to my cart: laptops, tablets, phones, Bluetooth headphones, not to mention the main products like the watch, all in the Pro versions with the maximum storage. I even added about 20 different protective cases, data cables, and other accessories. Finally, I reached the total of 180,203C. Then, satisfied, I added my bank card and paid. With express shipping, if everything goes well, I'll be playing with my iPhone 100 Pro Max by tomorrow. The titanium black color looks so metallic. After dealing with the 2 mystery box rewards, I finally had some free time to open TikTok. I had nearly 1,000 messages from strangers. Seeing that my account's gender was set to male, the DMs were a flood of women fawning over me, asking to be sponsored. There were also some very experienced ones. Knowing a stranger can only send one message. They didn't waste any words. They just sent hot photos and short videos of themselves. The ones who dared to send those were all quite confident in their looks and figures. I didn't mind. Who could hate a beautiful girl? I decided that if I was ever bored in the future, I'd go gold mining in my DMs. One DM in particular caught my eye. It was from Cody. I almost scrolled past it. I finally realized the name looked familiar. Thank you, Mr. Miller. Thank you so much for your help. I know you just couldn't stand what that other streamer was doing. As a fellow guy, you couldn't stand to see someone bullied like that. So you stepped up. Now that person has gotten what they deserved, and I feel like I can finally breathe again. If it's convenient, could I add you on Instagram? I felt a bit guilty. In reality, my starting point was just to earn favorability. Even though I was racing against the clock yesterday and clicking non-stop to send gifs, I had still noticed the battle between the 2 streams. I didn't expect that clicking into a random room would help a handsome guy viciously slap back at a greasy, middle-aged woman spewing filth. I followed Cody back. Ethan, what kind of payback did that piece of trash get? Cody seemed to have my messages pinned. He replied almost instantly. Link. Rich heir spends $5 million to slap down toxic streamer. Regarding what happened yesterday, because of your generosity, it caught the attention of marketing accounts, and it hit the trending topics. The official team noticed the public outcry. After investigating, they found she was a repeat offender. They said she was inciting conflict and violating community guidelines, so they banned her account permanently. Ethan, she deserved it, along with that group of lady fans who scurry around like sewer rats. She's probably huddled together crying somewhere now. The thing that stuck with me most was the filth coming from the other stream. It was as disgusting as raw sewage. I'm really grateful to you. If you don't mind, I'd like to return the $2 million I got from the commission. As for the other half that the platform took, my financial ability is limited, so I'm truly sorry. Even though it was an accidental coincidence, I really had helped him in a major way. The DMs weren't just full of Cody's gratitude, but also messages from his fans. Dozens of DMs from innocent male college students were all praising my sense of justice, calling me rich, handsome, and kind-hearted. I could see Cody's sincerity in wanting to return the money, but having inadvertently done a good deed and receiving so much praise from others made me feel a bit lightheaded. At the same time, I was worried the system would judge the task a failure and claw back the $5 million in cashback. That would be a massive loss. Ethan, no need. Keep it for yourself. He sent several long paragraphs, but I didn't reply. I was currently treating money like dirt. I just turned down over $2 million. My heart is actually aching right now. I'm afraid if I look at those messages for even another second, I'll regret it. I thought back to that girl selling dogs yesterday. I typed her name from memory. Sure enough, she had sent me a private message. The puppy girl, boss. Thank you so much for the support you gave my stream. I didn't manage the room well and let you get treated unfairly. I'm so sorry for that. I'm not sure if you're still interested in this puppy, but if you are, please add me on Instagram, xxxxxx. Now, this actually interested me. I had spent about $30,000 in this streamer's room. Even though this 8TO rated girl wasn't exactly my type, the puppy was truly adorable. If those salty trolls, who were chasing me around with insults, found out, they'd be green with envy. The thought alone gave me a secret thrill. The puppy girl lived in the state right next to mine. She originally wanted to ship the dog by air, but I'm rich and impulsive, and I didn't want the puppy to suffer. I gritted my teeth and hired a private courier, instructing the driver to keep the AC on the entire time. That cost me over $1,600. If all goes well, by this evening, I'll be able to pick up the puppy at the gate of my complex. I decided to head out in the afternoon to a pet store to pick up some supplies. To be honest, I once had a pet of my own. When I was in elementary school, I secretly adopted a stray cat. I kept it in a cardboard box hidden under my bed. Every day, I'd smuggle in a little food and water, but I was so young, how could I keep a secret like that? Less than 3 days later, I came home from school. To find the space under my bed had been cleared out. My mother's face was grim, and my father had a worried look. I didn't dare resist. I spent the entire afternoon kneeling on the floor as punishment. When my mother wasn't looking, I slipped out to search for it. Sadly, I never found that kitten again. I couldn't even bring myself to imagine what happened to it. It was from that moment on that I finally realized a person without independence, someone who relies on others, has no right to possess anything, not even their own preferences. Even though I loved fluffy little animals, I only ever followed pet influencers online after that, watching with a mix of envy and longing. But now I have my own home. I have a steady source of income, and I just happened to cross paths with a streamer selling dogs. Maybe I really am destined to have this puppy. When the Uber arrived, I realized this was a massive pet supermarket. It was 3 stories tall, all dedicated to pet-related supplies. The best part was that it was pet-friendly. Animals were allowed inside. Owners were walking around with all kinds of cats and dogs. The shelves were set very low, so the fur babies could sniff around here and there. The smart ones would lift a paw or grab a bag with their teeth to show what they wanted. The 3rd floor was a restaurant with special pet menus. Just imagine you and your fur baby dining together at a restaurant, enjoying the city view of S-City, surrounded by fellow animal lovers and pets of every breed. What a wonderful experience. I was practically itching to bring my little pup here already. The young shop assistant asked about the dog's age and breed before giving me some thoughtful recommendations. I bought a small bag of high-end imported puppy food and some popular sample-size snacks. The clerk suggested not buying too much at once. It's better to bring the puppy in for a taste test and stock up once I find a brand he likes. I also picked out a fluffy little bed in light green that matched my home decor perfectly. I got bowls, a grooming brush, a puppy litter box, some cute toys, and more. In another section, the pet clothing, I could hardly move. My pup is a Maltese. He's a small breed, with long, pure white fur. I could already see how adorable and handsome these little outfits would look on my puppy. I bought about a dozen, then picked out a set of matching collars and leashes in different colors. I swore I'd make my puppy look absolutely beautiful. That was another $3,000. In the evening, the courier called me once he reached the complex gate. I've rushed down, unable to wait. In his hand was a small pet carrier. The puppy's moist eyes were like little dark grapes. He pressed against the door, tilting his head at me, as if asking, "Are you my new owner?" I was absolutely overwhelmed by the cuteness. I let him out and gave him some water and puppy food. I hadn't been idle today. I had done a ton of research on puppy care. Instead of going home, I took a taxi straight to a nearby pet hospital. I had a whole series of checks done. Antibody tests, infectious diseases, skin, fecal exams, everything. The puppy was in great shape. He's a boy, about 3 months old. He'd already had 3 rounds of vaccines. The vet said to come back in 2 weeks for a rabies shot. No skin issues, no parasites, no parvo or distemper. A very healthy little pup. After double-checking with the vet that it was okay to bathe him, I booked him a $1,680 luxury VIP grooming and spa package right there. The VIP grooming room was all glass, so owners could comfortably stay and watch. During the long 2-hour wait, I wasn't the least bit impatient. I watched as the slightly scruffy pup was transformed by high-end, show-quality shampoos and conditioners. His fur took on a brilliant, healthy glow. His coat was trimmed to look neat and stylish. With such a sweet-smelling, angelic puppy, I couldn't bring myself to put him back in that old carrier. At the pet hospital, I picked out a woven, cartoon-themed basket, including the exam and grooming fees. The total bill was over $4,000. Looking at the angelic pup sitting quietly in his basket, I didn't care about the money at all. I just wanted to give him the best. Back home, I set out his food and poured some filtered water. I lay on the rug, silently watching the puppy happily munching away. It felt so healing. After he finished, I wiped his messy little mouth. Seeing that the pup still had some energy, I couldn't resist playing dress-up. The puppy sat obediently. As I put him in a soft blue floral shirt, he didn't struggle at all. Once he was dressed, I gently tilted his chin up, brushed the fur on top of his head smooth, and used a matching blue little clip to secure it. I sprawled on the floor, getting every angle for a 360-degree photo shoot. In an instant, my phone gallery was filled with dozens of beautiful puppy photos. I can't just keep calling you puppy, can I? I said to myself. I looked at the little guy resting on my slippers. Why is he so clingy? I'll call you Cooper. I took out my phone and logged into TikTok. I carefully selected and posted a photo of Cooper, with the caption, "Welcome home, Cooper." My TikTok account, after all the heavy spending, especially that crazy 5-minute $5 million spree, had fully demonstrated my strength to the internet. My follower count was growing fast. I already had nearly 10,000 followers. It was even more than your typical mid-tier influencer. In today's society, you can become an influencer just by flaunting your wealth. Money always stays with the rich. Therefore, the wealthy only keep getting wealthier. Those following me were basically just there to catch a glimpse of a tycoon's lifestyle. So, as soon as I posted a status update, the comments immediately broke 100. The mysterious tycoon finally posted his first update. Is this an account some company is pumping money into? I bet the next post will be a sales video. Have you ever seen a company drop $5 million just to grow an account? And the fans he attracts are just nobodies like us. Am I the only one jealous of the dog? A lifetime of endless luxury and wealth. I'm so salty. Who isn't? I want to trade places with him. The girl who sold me the dog reached out. He's in his new home. He looks so handsome dressed up. The fat-burning candy could let me shed all my excess fat within a week. Given my 220-pound frame, I'd lose at least 50 pounds. I decided not to leave the house at all during this time. If I had to go out, I'd have to cover up completely. Otherwise, if anyone recognized me, they'd think I was some kind of monster. Almost within a few hours of taking the candy, I began to feel hotter and hotter. Even in an air-conditioned room kept at 78 F, I wouldn't stop sweating. Only after turning the central AC down to its lowest setting of 60 F did I feel some relief. I relied entirely on delivery for food and drinks. The me of today is no longer that broke loser who couldn't even bring himself to spend money on a discounted meal deal. According to the instructions of the fat-burning candy, once I took it, I would maintain an optimal physique for life. So, I completely let myself go. In the morning, a bowl of high-carb, extra-large noodles. At lunch, a meal of things I previously couldn't afford and didn't dare to eat: fried chicken, roast duck, gourmet private kitchen dishes, etc. In the afternoon, I'd have some cake, desserts, and milk tea as a snack. For dinner, I had no taboos. I ordered whatever I craved. After the meal, I'd have some high-sugar fruits. When I stayed up late and got hungry, I'd order BBQ for a midnight snack, paired with a cold Coke. The thought that I could be reckless for the rest of my life, indulging my cravings, and eating without gaining weight, made me fly high with joy. With my appetite satisfied, I had to keep up with my spiritual needs as well. As usual, I did my daily tipping routine in Autumn's and Elena's streams. I was a bit puzzled. Why hadn't I heard the systems? Notification for favorability reaching 60 yet? When I tipped the puppy girl and Cody, it only took a few minutes to win them over. Could it be that these $10,000 or $20,000 a day weren't enough to touch their hearts? The system's answer was, everyone's state of mind is different, and the speed at which favorability grows varies. Autumn's favorability had reached 50, while Elena's was only at less than 40. Autumn comes from a happy family, so increasing her favorability is more difficult. The only reason it was even that high was because my voice hit her sweet spot. As for Elena, she has no shortage of big spenders, tipping in her stream. Plus, I rarely spent my own time and energy to actually talk to Elena. It made me feel like I was paying money just to be a simp. So, her favorability wasn't very high either. I didn't really care. But what did catch my attention was when I curiously asked about Maya's favorability. It was actually over 60. Then why didn't you give me a mystery box draw? I asked, indignant. The system answered coldly. Favorability reached before the system was activated. Cannot be counted. While I was secretly pleased, I still had some self-awareness. She probably fell in love with that 1 million I tipped her, I thought calmly. It was just a shame to waste a mystery box opportunity. To avoid being tied down to just those 3, I occasionally wandered around other streams to see if there were any beauties that caught my eye. Of course, I didn't forget to check Maya's daily homework. Ever since I dropped that million in Maya's stream, I hadn't tipped her another cent. Maya, however, still messaged me without fail. She had stopped the charade of posting stories, visible only to me. Instead, she sent pictures directly to me. She clearly wanted a taste of this easy life. During these 7 days of lounging at home, waiting for the fat-burning candy to take effect, I was incredibly bored. So, from time to time, I'd make some requests. Maya never expected that the Ethan who used to want pure love would turn out to be like this. While she cursed me as a little pervert under her breath, she did as she was told with a blushing face. I found some strange tutorials online. I just thought it was fun, and wanted to test Maya's bottom line and tease her. Seeing no reply for a long time, I thought I'd gone too far. That was within my expectations. Just as I was feeling a bit of regret, she unexpectedly sent a photo over. It was the first time I'd seen something like that, and I was startled. My God, such a terrifying thing. It stood in such stark contrast to her artistic-looking fingers. My ears turned burning hot. I typed at lightning speed, as if that was the only way to calm down. That's disgusting. Maya felt a bit aggrieved. She had to build up her courage for a long time, and she even tidied herself up specifically before taking the shot. She had only ever shown it to Ethan. He insisted on seeing it and then called her disgusting. It was so hurtful. She continued her routine of construction work by day and streaming at night, all while dealing with my various whims regarding the 1 million Ethan tipped her. She had immediately contacted the best nursing home for her father. The 2-year fee took exactly her $500,000 cut. Not a cent was left. She still had to pay for additional professional nursing care. Her monthly salary only left her with basic living expenses. Ethan had already helped her immensely. She couldn't, and didn't want to, ask me for more money, even though just a few days later, Ethan had tipped a male streamer $5 million. That small amount of money was just pocket change to me. Maybe in my heart, she was already a woman who would do anything for money, someone without a bottom line. But Maya still stubbornly, almost ridiculously, wanted to keep her last shred of dignity. Of course, seeing Ethan spend money on other women, she still couldn't help but feel envious and jealous. Our relationship seemed to be gradually mending, returning to the previous state of joking and teasing. But whether we could ever truly go back was something only we knew in our hearts. Today, after playing a few games with a laughing autumn, we hit the glorious king rank. Then I went to Elena's stream to listen to a few tunes, and randomly bestowed my favor on a few unknown but highly beautiful small streamers. I found that it was easier to increase favorability this way. I successfully spent my $20,000 and finished my daily task. Just as I was about to tuck myself in for a good sleep, my phone rang. Looking at the word Dad on the screen, I fell silent for a long time. Just before it timed out, I finally answered. Ethan, you haven't gone to bed yet, have you? Robert's voice rang out. It was deep and pleasant. My own resonant voice was mostly inherited from him. About to. What's up? I'm calling to remind you that next week is your grandmother's birthday. You should come home for a visit. Robert rambled on. I replied coldly. Going back just makes everyone miserable. No one will be happy. Robert thought about his wife's family's attitude toward their son, and he knew I was telling the truth. Deep down, he didn't want his son to come back and be mistreated either. But at the thought of his wife's gloomy expression, he added weakly, we're all family after all, and it is your grandmother's birthday. So I'm supposed to force myself to go back, just to be a punching bag for that family's ridicule? I closed my eyes for a moment, struggling to keep my emotions in check, before finally agreeing to my father's request. I could already imagine how my grandmother would needle my mother if I didn't show up, and how my mother would then take it all out on my dad. Robert let out a sigh of relief, then bashfully voiced a rare bit of personal sentiment, his voice so quiet it was barely audible. You didn't come home during the second semester of freshman year, and you stayed at school to work over the summer. I miss you a little, son. I looked down, grunted twice in acknowledgement, and hung up. It's always like this. Just when I've finally hardened my heart, he says something that makes me go soft. I wasn't in the mood to play on my phone anymore. I tossed it aside and fell into a deep sleep on the bed. When I woke up the next morning, I felt a bit lightheaded. I got up to head to the bathroom, and when the boy in the mirror caught the corner of my eye, I was instantly wide awake. I leaned in closer, looking at my reborn body, with a mix of excitement and anticipation. Yes, at midnight today, the effects of the fat-burning candy had fully taken hold. The bathroom mirror only showed my upper half, which wasn't nearly enough. I ran to my walk-in closet as light as a bird and stared obsessively at my reflection in the full-length mirror. How long had it been since I felt like this? The oversized bathrobe hung loosely off my frame, slipping so much it was practically a wardrobe malfunction waiting to happen. Straight legs, a firm waist, defined arms, and a broad chest. My thick, short neck had lengthened, revealing a prominent Adam's apple. My gaze moved upward. A strong, square jawline and the sharp, deep features of my face had finally been liberated from the layers of fat. I stepped onto the body fat scale, trembling with excitement. 56 pounds. I had dropped exactly 64 pounds. Paired with my 6'1" height, it didn't exactly fit the current buff gym rat aesthetic. I wasn't wiry or rail thin either. Instead, I had well-proportioned muscle and a solid V-tapered physique. But I was more than satisfied. I loved the new me. I felt like that candy. Even had some kind of detoxifying, beautifying effect. My skin looked healthy and radiant, not like a piece of cold steel, but like something forged with vitality. I looked like I was bursting with energy, and with this muscular build, I radiated a sense of hormonal balance and peak physical health. Who would believe it? Only 7 days ago, I was a greasy-faced, sallow-skinned, shut-in slob. In my own private sanctuary, I jumped around and laughed like a madman, which gave my puppy, Cooper, who had been trotting happily at my heels, a huge fright. He scurried back to his bed, tilting his head as he watched me. The sight of him was too cute to handle. I scooped him up and covered him in kisses. With something this big to celebrate, I had to go spend some money. I needed to buy a whole new wardrobe. I threw on a simple t-shirt and shorts. My typical loser daily wear from before, but now, on my new body, it looked like that effortless, oversized boyfriend style. Even the slightly faded t-shirt looked like it was intentionally distressed for fashion. Truly, fashion is 90% face and body. I gave myself a buzz cut, and even with my black-rimmed glasses for nearsightedness, my looks didn't suffer a bit. It only softened the sharp lines of my face, adding a refined, intellectual vibe. A different flavor of handsomeness. Relying on Ubers to get around was honestly starting to get inconvenient. I decided to sign up for driving school. There were still over 2 months left. Before summer break ended, plenty of time to get my license. I didn't go for the big-name luxury brands. Even though I was a millionaire now, the status shift was only a few days old. I still couldn't wrap my head around clothes that cost tens of thousands of dollars a piece. Maybe my taste just hasn't caught up yet, but most of that stuff looked pretty ugly to me. I headed to a boutique shopping street, somewhere the old me could never have afforded. The street was lined with tastefully decorated small, independent designer studios and niche global multi-brand boutiques. The shop names were all in French, German, or Spanish, very high-end. I remembered a college roommate once mentioning that the selection here was great, with unique designs that weren't outrageously expensive. I picked a shop at random and pushed open the glass door. The shopgirl was very fashionably dressed, even sporting a set of bright pink nails. She gave me a quick scan. Her words tumbled out of her mouth like she was in a hurry, fast and a bit muddled. "Welcome in. Feel free to look around." Then she ignored me, going back to steaming and organizing clothes. As a former shut-in, I felt a little piece of me break. Nobody told me. The clerks in these shops were so intimidatingly trendy. It was enough to trigger my social anxiety around cool people. This particular shop focused on a cool, avant-garde style. Studded leather jackets, feathered black and white suits, and heavy-duty platform gothic punk boots. Plus lots of loose, heavily distressed and strapped denim. I stood there in silence. Turning around and leaving now would be too awkward. Clearing my throat, I pointed to the window display that had caught my eye. A sleek, black-tailored suit on a mannequin. "Excuse me, do you have this suit in my size? I'd like to try it on." This is an independent designer boutique, so every piece is a limited edition with only a few in stock. The set on the mannequin is $2,689, no haggling, no discounts. "Are you sure you want it? Because I'd have to take it down for you." The clerk didn't even look up. I'm usually a pretty quiet guy, but when unprovoked, I tend to get a bit of an edge. The modern college student's motto, if you're polite, I'll be even more polite. If you're rude, as you're rude, I'll give you a front row seat. To my beautiful mental breakdown. "What's that supposed to mean?" I asked. "Are you saying I have to buy it just to try it?" The clerk clearly didn't expect such a sharp comeback. She finally looked up at me. I've got a lot on my plate right now. Can't you see I have all these clothes to steam? She rolled her eyes. I'm just telling you the price first, in case it's not what you're looking for. Taking it off the mannequin and putting it back on is a hassle. I'm not doing it for fun, you know. She saw a student out shopping, and immediately categorized me as a window shopper. She was just annoyed at people treating her store like a fitting room. I was almost ready to laugh from pure anger. How does this idiot manage to be so shamelessly self-righteous? While complaining, I smiled. Who said I didn't want it? If I like it, of course I'm buying it. Wrap up that one on the mannequin for me. The clerk gave me a skeptical look. Had she misjudged me? She stepped forward and began undressing the mannequin to pack the suit. And, I added, the other outfits in the display window. If you have them in my size, I'll take one of each. Seeing her frozen in place, I stepped forward with a grin and gave her a quick glimpse of my bank account balance on my phone. See? Where's the basic trust between human beings? The girl only had time to see a long string of digits before her face instantly softened. She grabbed the items I'd pointed out and started packing them up,